everybody. I always wanted to do this. I am your host of this episode of the Fast Travel Lounge, Saif, and this is episode 41. Today, I will be getting joined by Steven and Josh. Come on, say hi, everyone.
Really? I disappear. I disappear for not even a week. I should be in another country right now. And Josh and Steve suddenly think that this is what? Like a vacation? Like what is they're not even full time. We barely pay you anything, Seth. Why are they on where are they?
I honestly have no idea. I was going to just make this a one-man show while they were gone. I was dreading it so much, man.
Well, we absolutely cannot have anyone other than me hosting the illustrious favorite pop culture gaming news sponsored by Krispy Kreme podcast, the Fast Travel Lounge. I should be in another country right now, but you know what happens? I was about to step foot on the plane. I did step foot on the plane, and my phone went off, and my phone said, there are many gaming events happening. Now you need to go home. And so you know what's more important than taking my first holiday since the pandemic? Gaming news.
Being on the pod with the boys to go through list upon lists of gaming news.
Yep, and nothing excited me more than to hear the little pitter patter of Steve and Josh feet running to the microphone because their favorite host is back and they're fucking gone.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what happened this week. Just went to trash like very quickly.
Oh well, I guess seeing as we're here and seeing as we're recording, yeah, welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. Yeah, I think you actually covered all the I mean, I'd have acting notes, for future, but all in all, I think it would have been a valiant attempt, but don't worry, here to save the day. Don't call me a hero. I guess.
Do I need to get out of the host chair?
I mean, your ass is like just as wide as mine, so it seems like it's a good fit because it's like those memory foam cushions. I
noticed there was like this nice groove in there that just kind of fits.
Yeah. So long as when you get out, it doesn't ruin my ass sitting in it after you, we're good. We're good. That's all I ask.
There will be no promises made at all.
Yeah. Okay. I will say I'm pretty sure we have a pact that we don't let Josh on furniture though, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely not. He sits on the floor.
Yeah. Cool.
That's even a little too good for him.
I had to make sure because I disappear for a couple days, everything goes to shit. I don't know. Maybe Josh sits on chairs now. That would freak everyone out.
No, that's never gonna happen. He just went out the door right behind you. He was like, "All right, Patrick's leaving. I'm going on vacation too."
Did he pack? Did he do the like look longingly over his shoulder, waiting for someone to stop him as he tied a bandana around all his things and attached it to a stick and started walking out, kind of like 1900s fiction writer type?
No, he seemed pretty excited about it. Like it was frame one. You weren't even out the door properly and he was already gone. I'm surprised he didn't notice.
Son of a bitch. There was like that weird rush of air past me as I went to open the door, but I figured that was just the breeze out. I didn't realize that was like letting a dog out in the morning.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was chasing a car down the road for a little bit there.
Oh no, maybe he's dead.
He'll turn up sometime.
Do you think if we left some food out and called his name, he might come back?
Depends. Is it Krispy Kreme?
True. Although if it was Krispy Kreme, I'd probably end up eating it before he'd be able to show up anyway. Right. I guess how I'm not even gonna say how have things been at this. It wasn't even a couple days. Yeah, I did have to cancel Canada. I am back for the month. But hopefully looking to rebook that next year. So my first holiday since the pandemic, still coming. just surviving.
I think the last time I had a holiday was like 8 years ago. I went on a trip to PAX in Melbourne, and that was for a weekend.
Nice. Some real Sigma great. You know what? You'd be a really good editor.
I've been told that multiple times. Some people even said I should do it for free.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing, right? Is that I think you'd be a great editor, but I think you'd be an even greater editor if you didn't do it for the money, right? Because you just did it for the love of the game.
Yeah, that sounds like a little too much effort, honestly.
Well, I do have to ask. Did in the last couple of days that I have been away for, did any tech break? Have you upgraded anything in your house?
No, and no. Everything's been relatively normal for me.
Cool. Well, unfortunately, given that we don't have Cursed Rice Cooker Man or constant Samsung phone issue man, that's most of the preamble / small talk out of the way. I would ask how the weather is, but frankly, I don't care. So I guess we'll just go straight into Around the Lounge. Other than missing me dearly, what have you been up to this week, Seth?
I've been playing a lot of Monark. It's a very long game, and I feel like it's a good game to talk about right now because we just had that discussion last week about grinding in video games, and this is a very grind-heavy game, so I feel like it'll make a pretty decent talking point this week.
Cool. I haven't been up to anything. I've been answering work emails with a lot of, hey, I thought you were on holidays, and, oh, well, if you're not on holiday, then can you do XYZ thing for me? So, haven't had much time, but thankfully, all of the time that I haven't spent playing video games is time that every major gaming studio and platform has spent marketing what's coming up. And boy, much in the way that I like... shit, I really thought I had some sort of farming segue there. I don't, but Jesus Christ, there's a lot of farming announcements.
Yeah, no, and I'm so surprised that there's so much happening because it's TGS season, and the last, 10 years of TGS, it's been an absolute bummer of a show, and this year they were all like, you know what? Let's just announce everything this TGS. Let's show off everything that we have. And on one hand, I'm glad. On another hand, we just had Gamescom not that long ago, and now we got so much to dig through for a gaming podcast.
Yeah. Well, no sense in delaying it. We'll have to get through it all. I guess this is the spiritual sequel to the List episode, whatever infamous number that was. Comment down below if you remember which one that was, by the way. Only the real ones remember listening through that, because boy howdy, are we in for round 2. Tell me about Monarch.
Yeah, so Monarch is a strategy RPG game that came out earlier this year. Trin got it for me for Valentine's Day. And yeah, I've just been streaming that on the side for a little bit whenever I have a chance, and it's been a lot of fun. To get into the nitty-gritty of it, have you played Fire Emblem before? Or any type of tactics style game like that?
I've played... I want to say it was Fire Emblem, but it wasn't a recent one, and I didn't play much of it.
Okay, but you get a general idea of you
I've
move
definitely
your
played
units.
that style of game before, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a lot like that, but more 3D and, very 3D. All of your characters...
Like 4D or how 3D?
All of your characters can move across, in all 360-degree motions of, movement. And
so you're currently describing 2 dimensions.
I said, yeah, okay. I mean, in the terms of, you're not stuck on a grid.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, so you get free range movement. A lot of your abilities will track in, either circular areas around you, cones, or straight lines. And you've got to make, you've just got to strategize around, do I want to target single enemies? Do I want to target multiple enemies with a AoE type of an attack?
Right. So what I'm hearing is that you're playing Diablo?
I haven't played much Diablo before, so I can't comment too much on that. That's why I'm going with the Fire Emblem way, because...
Yeah, I feel like whoever sold you Monarch just slapped a Monarch label on Diablo 3 and charged you how much?
I believe this was 60 at launch. 60 US.
Scammed.
But yeah, no, I'm going with the Fire Emblem example because it's you've got all of your actions done through units rather than going through a dungeon crawler type of thing. It's also a very budget game. The main premise of the main scenario of the game is that you're trapped inside a school. Shin Mikado Academy is what it's called. And the high school has been sealed out from the outside world, so you can only explore the school grounds. And whenever you have to do a battle scenario, you're transported to the battle dimension where it's just a bunch of floating platforms with the enemies on them, a spooky skybox around the area. And it's you can tell it's a very budgeted game. But I don't think that makes it a bad thing, honestly. Like, just because something's of a cheaper game value doesn't mean that it's inherently bad.
Not strictly, I guess. But so tell me about the grinding, the side of it, because currently what I'm hearing you describe is some weird mixture of Yu-Gi-Oh's Shadow Realm, Diablo 3, and what's the Harry Potter game coming out that got delayed?
No,
Wizarding World?
it was Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy, yeah, and Hogwarts Legacy. It sounds like you're describing a weird hybrid of that. So where does the grind come in?
The grind comes in with like just a general gameplay loop. So you mentioned the Yu-Gi-Oh Shadow Realm, and the skyboxes are actually very much like the Shadow Realm. It's kind of nuts how similar they are. But yeah, this is
I'm telling you, man, you literally got a rebranded game with a label on it called Monark, and someone charged you, or I guess, Trin, $60 for this.
Yeah, and my trinity of well, not Trinity as in my girlfriend, but like my like cross of 3 different things that make up what this game's sort of identity would be is this is like
your Triforce, if you will.
Yeah, my Triforce of this is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Shadow Realm, like you mentioned. That's actually a very good one. Fire Emblem and Persona. Yeah, so the grind comes in because you don't do battles all that often. So I'm gonna have to explain how a character chapter kind of runs through. So you're introduced to the game and you do a character chapter with this side character named Nozomi, and her story is that someone's taken over the student council and she's been given permission to start up the true student council. So because she was a student council president before getting kicked out by this whoever the villain for her chapter is are going to be. And as you're going through, you get taken into these areas that are filled with mist, and mist is causing people to go insane when they spend too long in them. So you're given a chance to, if you explore the mist without doing a battle you're given at the very beginning, you have a chance to get a death call, which will just send you straight to a group of level 99 enemies that will absolutely destroy you. So take the phone call right at the beginning when you're given a phone number to ring, and that'll be your like first fight for that floor. Then you do that. Then you don't have to do any other fights after that. You can just go straight to the end objective of that first kind of floor of the of the progression, and that'll take you to like a boss arena sort of one. Not so much a boss arena, more like a checkpoints just to gauge your level progression. And you'll do that twice per character chapter, and then the third time will be a boss. So you'll get like 5 normal fights and then a boss fight. The problem is that doesn't feel like enough between going through character to character chapters, that you'll be leveled enough as every time you go to a new character, there's going to be a level jump. So you have to do a lot of grinding in between character chapters to stay up to level to progress the story properly. I was doing fine for the game for the first 2 characters, and then I got to the boss fight of the third one, and I just suddenly hit a wall, and I was getting absolutely demolished. And the boss was only like 5 levels ahead of me, but it was doing so much damage, and it had like its attacks were doing multi-attack stages to me. So it'd sit there and like it hit me for like 100 damage and do like 8 attacks per hit. Sorry. It was doing 8 attacks, and each attack was doing 100 damage per hit, and I only had like 200 health, so I was gone in the first 2 hits.
Right.
Yeah, so it came down to me just having to grind till I was above the boss's level, and then just kind of go at it. That's
always the question, right? Is that seems, I've got no idea what the level scaling is, but if it seems like the dudes that fuck you up in 99, it's kind of the Pokemon scaling of 1 to 100. So
yeah,
is it is it designed where you should have been able to beat it where the boss and you were the same level?
It is. On my first attempt,
If you were good enough?
yeah, basically it was if I was good enough. Because on my first attempt of the boss fight, I got down to because the boss fights still have the other normal units around them. So I had gotten rid of all the units and one of the bosses, and it was just one left. But they got a lucky crit and took me out right at the end. So that put me on tilt mode for like an hour, and I was stuck just trying to fight him for another hour before I decided, no, I'm just gonna quit and I'm gonna grind for a bit. But I think with like some smart strategizing, I could have done that at that level I was at, because you get a lot of status buff sort of movements, and one of the units I got at the very beginning of the game is for the Sin of Lust. A lot of this game revolves around the 7 deadly sins.
Oh, of course it does.
Yeah. So one of the first units I got was Lust, and Lust is absolutely broken. I didn't realize this until just recently, but they're very good at buffing up their magic stats, and then their magic attacks just absolutely destroy units all over the game. So I've just been cruising through this last half of the game just on Lust itself. But yeah, it's also
interesting tagline. I've been blasting through the game just on Lust itself.
Yeah, that was. I honestly don't know how else to say it, because Lust is just that good. Lust is the strongest. Lust is the strongest sin.
Funny that you mentioned that. There is a pizza chain in New Zealand called Hell's Pizza, where the Lust pizza, because of course, Hell, 7 deadly sins, all that stuff. The Lust pizza is the meat lovers, and that happens to be one of my favorite pizzas. So, Lust is so good, in your words, and I too would cruise through levels with Lust.
Oh, and Meat Lovers is just the good pizza, honestly.
Not everywhere, but from Hell's, Hell's try and do some sort of fancy combinations, and some of them excellent. Credit where it's due. But usually let's just buy a bunch of pizzas for a bunch of people. Lust is the like easy go-to, everyone loves it type deal.
Fair enough. But yeah. So far, I think I've put about 60 hours into the game. I think 20 of that is probably on grinding. And it did get to a point where it's just like, I found a loop. I'm just going to do that loop and just kind of like zone out for an hour and get as high as I can. The thing that bothered me, though, is that you can hit a cap on how much EXP you can hold at once. So the way you level up is every character has skill trees. And every battle, and just exploring the world a little as well, you'll find spirits, which will be used like Dark Souls kind of souls. So it's being used as both your level experience and your currency for the game. So you use you use the spirits on the skill trees, and every time you buy something on the skill tree, your level goes up 1 level.
I love that so much of how you've described Monarch so far is, so this mechanic in this other game, basically identical. They just took that just straight into Monarch. Yeah, so that's how that works.
Yeah, there's so many things in games that just can be like, look at what this other game did, and you can translate it 1-to-1 in another thing. Because so many games do the Dark Souls currency system now. It became very popular, and I'm not sure if I like it or not. I like it in certain games, like the Souls games, but being used in every game, not so much.
Did you know that it was used in a racing game?
Oh god, what racing game?
Need for Speed Most Wanted used that as the system. You out being a menace on the road would rack up bad boy points. I don't remember what the actual currency was called. Where if you returned to base, you'd bank them, but the longer that you were out, or the more intense the police chase were, the higher your chance of earning more, or your multiplier for it would go up. So it became this risk-reward thing of, just like Dark Souls, can I afford to take out the boss / this police car? or will I die and lose everything?
Yep. Oh god, that sounds really annoying to deal with in a racing game, honestly.
Surprisingly works pretty well, because it's going for the open world exploration-y type mechanic, so it wasn't that you're just doing circuit races over and over again, but pros and cons. But anyway, continue with Monarch. I keep sidetracking you. just like old times.
Yeah, so I don't have too much more. I'll add on to Monarch for now. So I just want to say so far that okay, so the developers behind this game used to work on the Shin Megami Tensei series, all the way up to Persona 2, and then I believe they left Atlas at that time. So
which explains why you talk about how it's got a lot of
Persona vibes.
Persona vibes, and you get taken to the Shadow Realm for fights.
Yeah. So they're doing a lot of that. Persona also is like a series that's all about like self-identity and making connections, and this is
personas, if you will.
Yes. Well, self-identity is the personas part, yes, but also like being social, making relationships, and my friends are my power sort of thing. This game goes a little more selfish, I guess, because you team up with other people, but they're kind of like it's kind of more like you're intertwining your fate with them and like helping them through their struggles. But a lot of the power set comes from you being egotistical and using your own ego to drive your desires, and it's a lot more. All the villains are like very self-centered, and they got powerful because their own wishes were like very self-centered, and they just kind of got.
Wait! You're telling me that villains didn't get powerful because of the power of friendship with other villains?
Honestly, I kind of want to see that happen at some point, but not in this game. No, it's things like so the first one that you go against is like he wants to be like the most revered person in school. Like he's got self-doubt issues, and he's wanting all of that kind of like I'm losing the word at the moment, but he kind of like wants other people to push him up, and he thinks he deserves that sort of thing. Like he's convinced himself that he deserves that, and he deserves to rule over the school even through his own self-doubt.
He wants the school president jock points.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so
I think he could dream bigger, honestly. Like if he's making a wish that could come true that was selfish, it'd be like, I want to become God.
There's a set of twins that are like they represent lust. So the first one was representing pride.
All right, I'm gonna need you to be very careful with the words following the twins represent lust.
You know how anime gets. They're girls. They have to represent lust.
Are either of them wearing cat ears?
No, but one of them is pretty catty.
Oh God! All right.
Yeah. Actually, I'll leave the villains a little on their own, because like playing through the game and like as I was saying before, like you go through like a 3-tiered checkpoint system for them, and each time you clear a checkpoint, you get a little deeper into their backstory and why they've turned out the way they have.
Oh God, it's the Balloon Wonderworld treatment of let's explore the psychiatry of the main character / villain of the world.
Yeah, but it's actually explored in-game rather than a novel. But talking about the party members instead, because they're the ones you're going to interact with a lot more. Nozomi, I don't really have a lot to say about her because I started the game in February and then I dropped off for quite a few months, so I don't remember a lot about her. And for the second half of the game, she's going to be the final routes I do. There's a character named Kokoro who's kind of like a shut-in. All she wants in the world is to be safe and secure and just kind of like live life on her own and read through all her books and absorb knowledge.
I mean, based on how the last 2 years have gone, not surprising. fairly relatable, actually, I would say.
There's Ryotaro Date, who's the son of a rich conglomerate that makes construction buildings, and he's kind of like been outcasted from his family, and
because he doesn't like construction.
No, he loves construction. Construction was what his grandpa loved, and his father is using it more as a business side rather than a love for making beautiful buildings. But Ryotaro is just kind of like a weirdo that kind of loses direction all the time, and he's very my way or the highway sort of personality. So
I mean, if you're building a building, you kind of want to do it my way or the highway, right? You don't want some shoddy construction.
Yes, like he's very abrasive and kind of
so you meant my way or the highway as in either he will build you the building or a highway.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, in that case, yeah, that would be quite abrasive. I generally, when I'm looking for an extension to my house, I don't want it to be a 4-lane carriageway, but I understand how that could happen.
Him and Kokoro are the other two characters besides you to also have pacts with sins. Kokoro...
Please explain to me the sin that the construction guy's involved with.
Gluttony.
Hell yes.
And if you didn't guess it, Kokoro is sloth. Yours is a weird one. It's not exactly a sin. It's the offshoot for vanity. And I haven't gotten I'm getting closer to the end of the game, so I'm going to get like the big reveal of why it's vanity soon. But I can make guesses just off the fact that it's being vanity in general. Like the game's not very deep thematically. It wears everything on its sleeve very, very well.
Is it because you really like vans and the guy that builds highways is like, all I'm saying is there's definitely a connection there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
And the last character, Shinya, he's the adopted son of the dean and principal of the academy, and he's just kind of like being raised on knowing all of the supernatural elements that go around the school and being prepared all his life to take care of them. But
he also really likes construction?
No, he's super self-doubtful. Like he digs into himself a lot. He doesn't believe that he deserves any of the opportunities he's been given or the affection he's been given by people. He's kind of a sad boy.
Has he tried construction?
No, he really hates the construction guy.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. But so...
What are his thoughts on vans? Like the car and then optional extra, the shoe.
The shoe, I think he'd be a fan of. The cars, not so sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, so the first half of the game is just kind of like getting to know each of these characters while you help them take down another one of the Seven Sins characters. And I'm just going to talk up to about the at the midway point of the game, but once you finish all 4 of them, also something I wanted to mention is like as you're doing your character's storyline, whoever isn't meant to be in that storyline will just fuck off for the chapter. Like you'll do their chapter and then they're like, okay, I have other things to do. Go about.
They have homework.
Yeah, basically. So you can't have Ryotaro in like the Shinya routes or Kokoro in the Nozomi routes. It's just like you'll have that one character and just interact with them for a few dungeon runs before they fuck off for a little bit. And then you get to the midway point of the game and it's still, you can only have one character with you, but you've got your choice of taking any 4 of them with you as you're doing this last sin character that's still around. And the twist for that middle section, I was a big fan of. It was actually kind of a hit for me because I really enjoyed the character that was in the game up to that point, and seeing them turn into a twisted villain kind of sucks. Yeah, and a little bit for the second half of the game is that just so far from the way it's structured is that you go through each character's routes and you kind of like hit an ending for the game, and then it loops you back to the middle of the game and you got to clear the game 4 times now. Wow,
that's almost like Call to the Lamb.
Huh. Okay.
Not necessarily at the same scale, but you get to the end of the level and the game is just like, oh, you're not ready to fight the boss yet. Back to the hub world you go.
Yeah, no, just like
see you in 5 more attempts, buddy.
I'll talk more about the second half of the game when I finish the game, but it's basically like, okay, go through this entire character storyline, hit an ending where like you go through multiple tiers of plot twists and character revelations, and then go back to the middle of the game, do it with someone else.
That's interesting because I think in games that are quite narratively driven like that, particularly ones that offer you choices, that ends up being how I would play it anyway. Of saving the game, exploring one tree to its conclusion, reloading the game from that point, and then just picking a different tree.
Yeah, it's a very interesting way to do it, and yeah, they do handle things differently, even when they get to like similar story beats in between them. But yeah, it's been a very interesting way to handle a second half of the game. It's very unique, I think. And it's also where the more grinding comes in, because there's big jumps between each character path. Like, you'll clear one, and then the enemies will have a level jump, so you got to make sure you're all equipped for it. Around the middle of the game, I left off at the level 30 to 40 range. Where I'm at now, whoever I pick up, I need to level up from level 35 to level 75. And thankfully, I have enough.
Wow, okay.
Thankfully, I have enough currency to just dump into them to get them that high.
Yeah. Weird that the level jump is double your character's level, but
yeah,
well.
it scales normally, but because you only take one character with you at a time, it's a big jump whenever you go to the next character.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, any other points you want to hit with that, or
I think I've hit enough with that. I've been enjoying the game a ton so far. It's if you're a fan of Persona games or strategy RPGs, I'd definitely say give it a try, especially on sale, because it is kind of like a budget game. But no, it's been really good.
Sweet. Well, have to ask, out of 10, what would you give it?
Leaning towards an 8 so far.
Interesting. Oh, well, thank you for that, Saif. Honestly, the little that I have done this week makes me want to go straight into the news, given how much we have to get through. So I think we'll just do that. Sorry. And with that, we come to the end of Round the Lunch for this week. Thank you, Saif, for that.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, there we go. Which means we get to move on to part 2 for this week, which is, of course, the news. Starting off with a list. Actually, no. Starting off with
a banger.
Actually, now that I think about it, going back to that 7 deadly sin chat real quick. One of the sins is pride, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Pride is 100% up there as a sin.
And I'm pretty sure that Pride has a problem with premature ejaculation, because he always cometh before Babylon's fall. Is that how the saying goes?
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of, Babylon's Fall's dead.
Yeah, Babylon's Fall, more like Babylon's fell off a fucking cliff.
Sad trombone.
Not even sad trombone. Everyone saw this coming from a mile away.
Yeah. So the first thing that I want to touch on with this, Babylon's Fall, they've announced that they're going to terminate the live service aspect of the game. And it's going to end February 27, 2023. Now, they do say liable to change, could be alterations, all that, fine. But if it does get terminated February 27, 2023, this is our 5-year plan, this is our live service future for like the short to medium term, won't have even been up for a year.
Yeah, no, it'll be just shy by like a week.
I just, like, why would you not just leave it running for you already have 0 players. Is it really that much more expensive to leave the servers running for 1 more week just to at least say that you could celebrate its 1-year anniversary before you pull the plug?
I think it'd be too sad to pull the plug on the 1-year anniversary. But now you got me curious, so I'm going to go look. Currently playing Babylon's Fall, 4 people. 24-hour peak, 6 people.
Think of how much money each of them. So I don't know about you, Seth, when you buy a game, when I buy a game, I typically look at how much money have I spent on this game, and by extension, how many hours of gameplay am I getting for this game? I feel like Babylon's Fall is now doing that with their players.
Yeah, I guess so.
These players have been in the game for this many hours. It is costing us this much money to run the environment.
The thing that gets me the most is that they didn't even try to salvage it by going, you know what, let's go free to play. Let's see if that drives any interest. They just went straight to shut down the service. Just to end it. And they're not even getting like 3 seasons worth of stuff. The way they announced it is like, we're going to get to the end of season 2. There will be another season's worth of another season running, but it's just going to be season 2 again.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it was funny with that too, because once they saw the writing on the wall and they were like, okay, so we get it. People aren't enjoying Babylon's Fall, the greatest game of all time. That's fine. Hypothetically, if you had to change something about this game, could you fill in this 5-minute survey and tell us about what we could do differently? That way we could make the game better and improve it and all of that. And I'm pretty sure all of that just got sent straight to junk on the email server that took all those survey responses, because they seemed to, that or other idea, all of the feedback they got was so fundamentally different, where everyone's comments would just build Elden Ring.
Yeah.
that they decided, you know what, maybe it is too much to climb this one.
Yeah, they did say that they read the feedback and they appreciated everything. That could be all PR bullshit. But I get the idea that whatever needed to be changed was just too much, like too different from what direction they wanted to go in the game, and they just kind of like doubled down on the way they want to make the game.
Yeah, well, I can't say I'm surprised. Can't say that anyone else is surprised. Actually, the guy who is surprised is probably the
one Babylon's Fall player.
Yeah, the one Babylon's Fall player who, I mean, if there have been 4 playing in the last 24 hours, either he's on a bunch of Smurfs as well, or he no longer has that title for now. Probably, I think that was probably 50% of the fan base coming back to just celebrate Babylon's Fall once more with one last little run through the game before they uninstall it from their respective computers.
I need to find out who that guy is again, so I can see what his thoughts on the game closing down is. He's probably happy he's getting his time back.
Yeah, it's more important to get his comment than it is to get any of the studio heads' comments.
Yeah, exactly. He's like their strongest soldier.
Actually, speaking of strongest soldier, I don't think we have it on the news docket this week, but I do want to bring it up briefly. Yeah, I don't think we touched on it last week, but there was a. Did we talk about Diablo Immortal and the premium currency putting people in the negatives?
I think I can't remember if we talked about it on the podcast, but we definitely had a conversation about it at some point.
Yeah, just to rehash that though, just because it's kind of, I think it's in a similar vein as the Babylon's Fall thing. That one guy who is now stoked to get his time back, a bunch of people found out that there were some third-party websites selling the premium, orb currency, whatever the hell that is, in Diablo Immortal. And then Activision Blizzard looked at that and went, oh, but we aren't getting paid for that shit. Hell no. And so they went and retroactively removed everyone's orb count that they'd purchased through these third-party websites, which drove quite a few players that had spent money on this into the negative. And then they made it so that you effectively can't play the game if you have negative premium currency. But don't worry, you can buy your way back out. And so some of the whales that have dropped tens of thousands of dollars on this game.
There's people like $20,000 in debt to the game now, aren't there?
Yeah, exactly. Who they've already dropped tens of thousands of dollars on the game, and Activision Blizzard goes, "Thank you for your service, but we're going to need another couple tens of thousands of dollars from you just so you can play the game again."
Yeah, no.
And if
taking away the ability to play the game is an extra level of scummy.
Yeah, but some of the whales just go, you know what? Maybe this isn't worth my time. And everyone on the internet at the same time went, really?
You don't say.
Yeah. Not going to spend too much more time on that. It's just Activision Blizzard being Activision Blizzard. Bobby Kotick assuming his role as a perfect zero on the diversity tool. I think we can move on. It was just funny because it just sort of reminds me of that, of, the Babylon's Fall was entirely targeted to that one guy in the same way that every one of the predatory behaviors in Diablo Immortal were targeted towards the whales. And it's funny that the people that, were so much a pillar / piggy bank for the games, now have to think of something else to do, and perhaps maybe it involves grass and touching. Who knows? Next up on the list, 343 studio head Bonnie Ross having to leave because of a family medical issue. Sad to see.
Yeah, you don't want to, like, this is a bad way to leave the company. Like, you don't really want to see people leave companies in general until it's like they're comfortable with it. But this being forced out because of family issues is really unfortunate. And she's been the head of I think she's a founder, right? Did you say she was a founder?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, she's been there since the start, and she's been in charge of the Halo series since 343 kind of came together to take over the Halo franchise. She's kind of been the face of 343 the entire time. I remember her showing up at every Xbox event whenever they had to talk about Halo.
Well, I'm going to go out on a wild limb and say that the number of men heading up game studios versus the number of women probably heavily skewed towards men. So
oh yeah, 100%.
So a shame on the diversity front as well.
But every Bonnie Ross is like 20 Bobby Koticks.
Okay, let's not try and think too much about that, shall we?
You're right.
There's some math that I really don't want to calculate.
There's too many zeros on the diversity scale for you. We're starting to divide by 0, and we can't do that.
Exactly. Next up, though, Saif.
Yes.
Hear me out. You are a man of culture. You are a man of having at least $80 and also being a man who would enjoy Dragon Ball Z: The Breakers. Why don't you take this next story?
All right, sure. So, right before recording this podcast, Bandai Namco decided they're going to drop a trailer specifically for me to show off that they're doing showing off what Majin Buu looks like in the game. But forget about Majin Buu for a second. Everyone likes Dragon Ball Abridged, right? Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
True.
The well-beloved character, Farmer with a Shotgun, is being added into this game. And I don't know about anyone else, but I was touting this game was worth $80 before Farmer with a Shotgun. It is definitely worth the 80 now that he's in there.
I really don't think there's anything more we need to add to that. I think that's such a perfect summation.
Yeah, that's fair. One other thing I'll add onto this, so is that they're going the extra mile, and if you get absorbed by Buu, you actually have a chance to escape by doing there was an episode of Dragon Ball Z of what Goku and Vegeta saw inside of Buu and saving everyone. You kind of go through that sort of dungeon if Buu eats you. So that's a pretty neat addition. Interesting.
Have you got Dragon Ball Z: The Breakers?
It's not out yet. They just announced that an open beta test is going to be happening.
No, I know, but sorry, pre-ordered.
Oh, pre-ordered. No, not yet.
Gotta make sure that it's really worth the $80, huh?
Yeah, definitely worth the $80. I was really holding out for that one character I needed, and Farm with Shotgun, he might be doing it for me.
Yeah, that might be the one. Cool. Well, let's move into some Ubisoft news. There's a bit of Assassin's Creed stuff. Probably hit that at the end. Why don't we just work our way down? All right. Seth, a question. I was about to say a question for the group. It's just you, so whatever.
I can be a group.
Mario, let's. Just one of you, more than enough. Fuck, marry, kill. Mario and Rabbids. There's no third option.
Fuck Mario, killed Rabbids. Marry Mario.
Fair enough. Speaking of Mario
no, you
and
put me on the spot with that. What's your answer?
I don't know. I kind of like I don't know. I feel like there's a certain vibe to fucking a rabbit, you know?
Is it that Homer Simpson 5 o'clock shadow on all of them?
How did you know my type?
You seem like the type of guy to appreciate a good Homer Simpson.
Remove the stone of oh shit, I forget the first one. Punishment. Remove the stone of punishment, attach the stone of triumph.
Oh man, I was thinking about that scene the other day as well. That's such a good scene.
It is. Anyway, yeah, so Mario and Rabbids. I don't really know how much we want to talk about this.
just showed off a boss fight against a Wiggler.
Yeah.
They did like an entire showcase where they talked about all of the different abilities and kind of like star allies and how you go about playing the game.
I was surprised that as part of that they showed off Chris Pratt in a table read doing all of the voices, like all of them.
Yeah, no, Chris Pratt makes a pretty good dungeon master.
And also all of the rabbit voice person.
Yeah, that was a little creepy, I will admit.
I think it was the sound that he was making as the Wiggler that really sold me on it, though.
Yeah, that one I wasn't a big fan of. It was just like a little too much. Like, you thought the rabbits were creepy, but then he starts like squirming around for the Wiggler, and it's like, please stop. Have some shame.
Like, the sound that the microphone was picking up, it wasn't just voice. I think he was actually like rolling around on the floor when they were recording that.
Yeah, and it's just like I'd appreciate some shame from you, Chris.
Like Benedict Cumberbatch when he was auditioning for Smaug in the Hobbit films.
Oh yeah,
and he really got into character.
Yeah, 100% in character for that.
Cool. Well, then next, there is no Chris Pratt. It's literally just a video of them boss fighting a Wiggler. But
but
we
Mario showed up. We have to talk about Chris Pratt.
It's true. It has been a while. Next up, we have this one's a bit sad. Skull and Bones made an appearance. Our resident pirate Josh was the only. Actually, I think Josh might have been the one Babylon's Fall player, but for Skull and Bones, even though Skull and Bones wasn't even out yet.
Yeah, no, he was literally excited for the game without knowing what the game was.
And
I told him multiple times they're just making a multiplayer version of the Assassin's Creed 4 ship levels, and he's like, no, it's going to be a pirate game. It's going to be cool. It's like, no, they literally came out and said it's just going to be the Assassin's Creed 4 ship battles, but multiplayer.
And not only that, but it's going to be just like Assassin's Creed 4 ship battles, but multiplayer, and also $125.
And also looks pretty terrible and is a live service game. And our resident one guy that likes that's excited for Skull and Bones has given up all hope and says it looks shit.
So the question is then, will Skull and Bones last longer than Babylon's Fall?
I think yes, just because Ubisoft will try. Square Enix is the type of company to just give up. Ubisoft will keep it up for at least a year.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Also, on sad news, I want to roll back to the rabbits for a second. They fucking tease that Rayman will be a DLC guest character down the line. He's going to be a guest character in a spin-off game for the spin-off characters from his franchise. God, Rayman,
wow.
Phil. I miss Rayman. The Origins and Legends were such good games.
Still, I think shoot, I don't remember which one, but one of them I think is still one of the highest rated platformers on
probably Rayman 2. I think that's the really, really highly rated one.
No. It was Legends or Origins, but it was on
okay.
It was on Vita, I think, and it was like the staple. If you're gonna get a platformer, get this game on Vita.
Yeah, that might have been Legends. Yeah, I think that was Legends. But yeah, Rayman Legends was fantastic. I slightly prefer Origins, but both of them are like really high up there.
Right, yeah. What else we have? Oh yeah, so this one's interesting. So it's like Ubisoft also announced like a standalone I don't know, experience thing. I don't really know what to call it for The Division. Which so hear me out. They sell this as a survival cooperative multiplayer shooter type thing.
Yeah.
I think this is a reverse Fortnite.
Kind of. It's half the size of a Fortnite. There's going to be 45 players on a map, and it's kind of player versus the environment as well. So it's PvPvE.
No, but that's my point, because admittedly I haven't played The Division, but it was just the way that they opened the trailer. It gave me the immediate vibes of what Fortnite was supposed to be as the single player content before it got immediately killed in favor of the multiplayer. Whereas The Division, known for its I've heard pretty good multiplayer experience. as I say, I've never played it myself, now announcing what looks like a variant of what the Fortnite single-player content was, and it's like,
just got a hit very late to that party.
Yeah. I would say better late than never, but that's not always the case.
It's also somewhat hero shootery because it's got 6 agents with 3 classes between each of them.
Because I think that was also what Fortnite was. I feel
Did
like
Fortnite
Fortnite experimented with that. I feel like if they didn't, they talked about doing that for the single player stuff. I don't know. It was just that was the gut feeling comparison that I had, and I haven't been able to shake it since. So you're welcome, everyone listening to that. Next up, though, Valiant Hearts 2. This one, I don't know. It's an article talking about how we've got Netflix exclusive mobile games, which Netflix made a big deal about releasing games as a way to try and get subscribers back because of how many they lost recently. But I heard from all accounts that the games weren't that they were barely even worth keeping the lights on for how little people used them.
Yeah,
so it's weird that Ubisoft
one
is
of them
coming out
seemed
swinging.
okay, but it was just kind of like a high score, kind of like play it for a little bit and then you're done with it sort of thing.
Yeah.
Point P, I think it was called.
Maybe. I don't know. But so this one, Ubisoft announcing some Netflix exclusive mobile games, which I'm sure, I don't know about you, Seth, but when I see the words Netflix exclusive and mobile and games, I think, oh, that's a lot of red flags.
Yeah, huge recipe for disaster. And it also sucks because I really liked Valiant Hearts, the original game. I played that quite a while ago, and I don't think it was a game that needed a sequel, but it was a very well done game. And the fact that a sequel is happening is nice, but it's being trapped inside all of these red flags.
Yeah, and so they announced that alongside Mighty Quest for Epic Loot and an Assassin's Creed mobile game. There was one that actually I fairly enjoyed from my memory of it. I do not remember what it was, but it was a side-scrolling Assassin's Creed game for what I'm pretty sure was a mobile device. It came out ages ago.
I think
for its
I
time
know the
was actually
games.
quite fun.
Yeah, I know the games you're talking about. It was like a triple set of one based in China, one based in India, and one based in Russia, I think.
Maybe. It came out like many, many years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know the game. Assassin's Creed
Doesn't really
Chronicles.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I don't know. I think the combination that has the least number of red flags in one sentence is when they try and make something completely different and a standalone. Like it seems like a lot of the issues recently with mobile games, or at least the reason why I'm absolutely terrified of seeing someone write down the word mobile game when they're announcing something, is that they try and make it the same experience on console. And even if the core gameplay is there, they just fuck with it as much as they can by putting all of the shitty mobile mechanics and everything else in there. But then I think of something like Assassin's Creed Chronicles, which it was just its own thing, and it was reasonably fun, at least based on the rose-tinted memory I have of it.
Yeah, no, when mobile games are just a game that's on mobile, it's really nice and not all that bad, but when it starts getting into the predatory practices, when it sucks. I think because they're going to tie it to a Netflix subscription, then it'll be fine. It'll probably be real games just on mobile. At least that's
because Netflix definitely isn't looking to put ads on top of their own subscription platform at the moment, am I right?
Yeah, I guess. They could just charge more and be like, hey, here's Netflix with a game edition.
And everyone goes, right, but can we get like high definition as standard now, or are we still not doing that?
Where's my 4K?
Yeah, all of that good stuff. Remember when they tweeted, love is sharing a Netflix password? Remember that?
And then they started cracking down on it a week later.
Not even a week. That was an old tweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy times. Next up, we have Trackmania coming to consoles and Luna, which, yeah, I guess. I feel like most people that are into Trackmania are already into Trackmania, so...
Yeah, it's just kind of expanding the market, I guess. Trackmania is cool. I've never actually played it myself. I've just watched videos, but it's nice it's coming to other things.
it's one of those games that I've never played myself, but I it's one of those, like, it's a weirdly interesting spectator sport.
Yeah, no, seeing all the like different crazy tracks that people do on YouTube where it like sends you flipping or forces you to drive backwards for like half the track because it's flipped you and turned you sideways. It's all really cool stuff.
Yeah. So that's cool, I guess. Yeah, all we know, coming early 2023 and is available on basically every platform.
Yeah, coming to everything.
And free to play. Which I think all of No, actually, no, not all of Trackmania was free to play. So I looked at getting Trackmania on Steam a while ago, and one of them that I was looking at was paid. I don't know. I'm not up to speed on Trackmania pricing model. Maybe it's changed, but yeah. So that's that. And the rest of it, Ass Creed.
Okay, so I want to start off with Mirage. Have you seen the trailer for this? The announcement trailer?
I've seen. So they announced, you'll have to forgive me, they announced a lot of Assassin's Creed stuff. I've seen a lot of trailers. I might have seen the Mirage trailer. Yeah,
so Mirage is the one that's going to be set in Baghdad in the 9th century. And I really like the cinematic trailer for this one. Like, I'd like to see gameplay for it. But for now, I'm just happy with the cinematic one because it's kind of going back to the tone of the earlier Assassin's Creeds. It feels like a return to Assassin's Creed 1 type of like mood and setting, and I'm really excited for that. If the gameplay goes back to how early Assassin's Creed was, I will be on board for this game again because I really do like the Assassin's Creed games. There was a good few years there where they were a lot of what I played, and it's just like the quality started going down, and that's when I decided to jump out. So having a high quality game come back, hopefully, will be really good to do, and it'll. I as much as it's shit on, having a Ubisoft open world every now and then is kind of nice to just kind of like sink time into if it's especially for Assassin's Creed because you're supposed to be exploring old civilizations recreated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that really annoys me though is that there's a deluxe pack that does a lot of Prince of Persia inspired outfits and DLC costumes for the game, and I just really want a new Prince of Persia. Like, not even just the remake of Sands of Time that's never coming out.
No, that's coming. They said there were some delays, right? You know, that
completely changed development studios. Probably starting from scratch.
Yeah, it's little column A, little column B. It's coming. It's on its way. Trust me. I
just really like a new Prince of Persia comes sometime. That looks really good. But yeah, no, I'm very excited for this game.
Right. So I guess that was Mirage. Jade.
They didn't show too much about that. It's a mobile game that's going to be set in ancient China. That's about all that can be said for that.
They did announce they did show off the in-game engine for it, which getting reasonably good. It's giving me it gave me I haven't played Genshin Impact, but it's got a similar, what I would consider like the mobile aesthetic for trying to do an open world game that can work on mobile.
So Genshin is more anime. This feels a little more like realism, but like watercolored or water painted is what I kind of get from this.
That's probably a better way to put it. But I guess what I'm saying is that the engine demo looked interesting, but it would be nice to know what
runs at
sort
a
of
very
gameplay.
Stable 15 frames a second.
But it would be good to know what sort of gameplay there is, just because I cannot wait for in-game premium Assassin's Creed currency.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be awful.
Yeah, you know that's coming.
Next up is Assassin's Creed Red, Hex, and Infinity getting teased. Assassin's Creed Red is going to be funny because this is the one that's going to be done by the Assassin's Creed Odyssey team, and they've dug their heels into the sand for so long, and they said, we're not going to do Assassin's Creed in Japan. It's just you think you want it, but you don't want it. We're never going to do it. They're finally doing it. They're going to do Assassin's Creed set in Japan. it's the Odyssey team, so people are it's probably already off to a bad start if they go like the Odyssey, Origins, and Valhalla approach to it, where it's kind of more like The Witcher clone than it is an Assassin's Creed game. All we know about is the codename and the studio behind it. Yeah. They also announced Assassin's Creed Hexy, or Hex. And that one's being done by Ubisoft Montreal.
I believe it's HEXE.
HEXE. We can run with that.
Show me where I'm wrong. Show me where I'm wrong.
The logo for that is using like, I guess like a ward or a like.
It almost looked like Assassin's Creed 3. Type.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm getting the idea. It's also on top of like a satanic star. I'm getting the idea that it's going to be like during the Salem witch trials, maybe.
Oh, set in the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, the Shadow Realm, the hexes.
Gotcha.
They also announced that these two games will be the beginning of using the Assassin's Creed Infinity launcher, the live service thing that's going to be happening. Awful idea.
Multiverses.
Awful.
Assassin's Creed multiverse.
Yeah, the multiverse of Assassin's Creed games. God, imagine just like having a single character and then like jumping through a portal into different Assassin's Creed locales.
What do you mean? It's gonna be like shit. It'll be like Smash Ultimate, where every so often it'll just be like a new fighter approaches, and it'll just be different assassins from different periods of time. And the entire thing will be, who will win in a fight, Altair or Ezio? Now you can find out, thanks to our new multiplayer platform online beat 'em up.
I was thinking of the Multiverse of Madness scene where they're like crashing through multiple different multiverses, and it's just changing art styles, but like it's different settings for Assassin's Creed games.
God, the yarn version, the like tearaway for Vita type aesthetic for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that would be fantastic, actually. Also, on top of this Infinity announcement, they mentioned that they want to bring back the multiplayer that Assassin's Creed did as a standalone experience. One, it's going to be awful live service shit. But two, I really liked the Assassin's Creed multiplayer in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I spent a lot of time in that and hit the level cap and got the platinum trophy in the game, which required doing everything in that multiplayer mode.
I wasn't desperate enough to stick it out for the platinum trophy, but I did really enjoy the multiplayer when I was playing it.
Yeah, it's one of the more unique type of takes on a multiplayer game as well. At least at the time, a lot of games have come.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood multiplayer was Among Us before Among Us.
I was thinking Dead by Daylight.
I stand by what I said.
But yeah, it was like the early roots of that type of gameplay style. And yeah, I'd like to see it come back, and I hope it's done well. I just don't think it will if they're doing it through a standalone launcher. It'll probably be a single player, a standalone live service thing.
Yeah. Oh, well. But, maybe Ubisoft will surprise us. I don't think they will, but, we can hope. Right. That is actually, well, it's technically only one list down, but we're also had a couple other, like, random headlines at the start. So on to the next list. Next list is Nintendo Direct. My God, the farming. Oh, so much farming.
Yeah, we thought we were talking about farming a lot last week. Nintendo just had to come in and one-up us.
Farming for clips.
Show yourself to the corner.
I'm the host. You show me to the corner.
I'll give you the host chair back. That's the corner now.
Why are you turning it around?
It's got to face the wall.
Lift it. Don't just drag it. Oh, you're gonna put marks on the floor if you just drag it like that.
It's the only. I'm not strong enough to pick it up. That's why I have you around.
Well, that's because I'm sitting in it, but I'm saying find someone else to lift the other side.
We don't have anyone else. Steven and Josh left.
Do you not have an unpaid intern underneath the unpaid editor?
No, if I had that, I would have left editing to them.
Oh, good. 1 minute into the Nintendo Direct news and we're already talking about labor shortages. All right. First up in the Nintendo Direct news, Fire Emblem. You were the one talking about Fire Emblem before. Take it away. Yeah,
so this is going to be an anniversary game for Fire Emblem. So they're doing So let's start off. It's Fire Emblem Engage announced for the Switch. It's going to be coming January 20 next year.
When's the wedding?
That's where we're going to get into it with this. The whole premise of the game is that you have a ring that calls up past Fire Emblem characters. We've seen the legendary Marth. He's in everything. We've seen Sigurd from Fire Emblem 4, I believe. There's a wheel that shows a lot of characters. So we know that Roy, Lucina, Corrin, Lynn, Ike are all going to be in the game. Everyone that from Smash Brothers.
You're just naming Smash characters.
No Crom from the looks of it, or Robin, unfortunately.
What about Kirby?
Kirby could show up.
All right, I'm interested.
Yeah,
I was out. You say Kirby might be in there. I'm back in.
This looks like a big return to like older style Fire Emblem games, even before Awakening. This looks like a GBA era type of game, and a lot of Fire Emblem fans I'm seeing online are really, really heavily excited about that, because a lot of people didn't like what Awakening did to the series, sort of thing. So yeah, getting a return to form, a lot of people very excited for that. It's got a very colorful art style. It looks really nice compared to some of the recent ones. It also seems to run better than some of the recent games.
Well, it seems like it's carving its own aesthetic, and it's not crazy over the top technical.
Yeah, no. So another thing is that it's only rumored at the moment, but Gust might be making this game instead of Intelligent Systems. Gust being the developers of Atelier Ryza, which we'll get to later, and the Fairy Tail game that came out last year, I think. Also, they got a VTuber artist to do the designs of the main characters in this game, and you can really tell because people have done pictures of the main character as a VTuber avatar on the screen, and it fits too well. It fits perfectly. Yeah.
I'd believe that.
Also, the main character's design is kind of stupid, but I kind of like it at the same time. They've got like two-toned hair of blue and red. I've seen an idea floated around. I don't think it's going to happen, but some people are like, hey, what if, like, depending on what color Joy-Cons you have in your Switch at the time, it changes the two colors of his hair? 100% not going to happen, but there's pictures floating around. I'll probably put them up in a video around here. And, yeah, that'd be funny.
You get that nice, like, the neon ones for the Splatoon controller pack.
Yeah, you get the green like and purple.
Bright green. Yeah, bright green, bright pink.
Or if you're boring like me, you have the two greys and he just has full black hair. Or you get the Pikachu and Eevee ones, it's half brown, half yellow.
Ooh. Disgusting combination for hair, but I completely forgot that was a Joy-Con option.
But yeah, no, like the literal thing that's happening in this game is that you're wearing engagement rings that summon the past heroes into the game to help assist you, and seems like they're also involved in the story. There's a couple of cutscenes that show Marth around happening. They seem to work like personas or JoJo stands when you have the rings on, so it's probably only you can see them and they'll affect whoever you're attacking. But no, it's actual just engagement rings. Multiple times you see people are putting these rings on their left hand on the ring finger to make sure they're summoning these characters. Got to form that bond with them. But no, it looks like a very good game. I'm excited for it.
I would be excited if it didn't take me 100 hours to beat.
Also fair.
Next up, It Takes Two coming to Switch. This one, like, yay. I think it's I think it's something that would work quite well on Switch. I guess I'm just sort of surprised, and I guess to a lesser extent, a little bit nervous as to how this might run.
Yeah, I don't think it'll run too well on Switch. They did show something neat where it's like if you've got two Switches around, then you just do local play between the two. And they're still doing the thing where you have only one person needs to own the game and someone else has a friend pass to just play the entire game with you.
Yeah.
Which is to be expected.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like a year later, I'm not sure if it's going to run well on Switch. I think everyone that's interested in It Takes Two would have played it already somewhere else.
I think that's sort of my stance on it too. Of like, great, it's on another platform. Fine, it's a good game. I don't think we ever actually had a proper discussion on it because we're still waiting on Steve and Josh to finish their cute double date.
And I still need to start it in general.
Yeah, well, there we go. But yeah, cool. Not really too much else to add. Hope it runs well.
God, I hope it runs well.
Next up, we have Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse being remade for consoles and PC, releasing early 2023. You could have said remade, you could have said made, but I don't think I've heard the original.
Yeah,
actually,
no,
Fatal Frame I have heard of, actually.
Yeah, this is Fatal Frame 4, I believe, and the original was a Wii game that released in 2008. So it's been quite a long time, but good to see that more Fatal Frame is coming, even if it's just remakes. I think they've been remaking games for a little while now and re-releasing. I believe it was Fatal Frame 5 that was a Wii U game and then got released on everything else a couple of years later.
I have a sneaking suspicion that I was at a friend's house watching him play it years and years and years ago on his Wii.
Yeah. That they seem like good games. There's something I want to get into myself, but horror games are very low on my priority list because I'm a bitch when it comes to horror.
Well, it's because there's so much horror going on outside around us right now.
Yeah, after the last 2 years, of course.
Next one, Tunic coming to Switch September 27th.
Yay.
Yay, cool. I need an opinion on this, so yay, sweet. Next one, some Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC. It is DLC, right?
Yep, part of the season pass.
Cool. Yeah, not just a free update like Monster Hunter, which we'll get into later.
Yeah, they're adding a new mechanical character called Eno, who seems to have their own kind of like skill tree system attached to them. But more importantly, they're also doing swimsuit DLC.
Okay, calm down.
Listen, everyone is after the main character's titties, not any of the girls.
Sure.
Apparently, Noah has some really nice pecs to him.
Right. Yeah, I wish I had a nice transition out of that. I don't, so just read the next one. Sifu coming to Switch on November 8th.
Yay, that's also going to run horribly. And that's a game you don't want to run horribly.
Again, really not much to add. This next one, though. Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star.
I fucking love this so much.
This is interesting.
Yeah, the boxing games, like fitness games, have been on Switch for a little while now, and they seem pretty cool. But making one for Fist of the North Star is such a big-brained galactic move that I can't believe I haven't thought of it before. It just makes so much sense. I love seeing it.
So now instead of punching Josh, you can punch someone on Switch.
Punch Rao.
So this is a yay from you, huh?
Big yay. I don't know if I'll ever buy it. But just the fact that it exists is amazing.
Yeah, the fact that we live in a reality where it exists is already a big yay for you.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Cool. Front Mission 1 remake coming October, and Front Mission 2 coming early 2023. Front Mission 3 announced. I'm not sure I'm familiar with any of the Front Missions.
They're also tactics RPG sort of games.
It's the sort of like mecha-y type one, right?
Yeah, focused around mechas for these games. We talked about them a little bit before. This is just kind of like giving a release date for them now. And Front Mission 3 being announced for the first time is nice to see. Very excited for these. That's all the input I have for it, really. Yeah,
they look moderately interesting. It's a wait and see. It's a tentative yay, or an A, if you will, from me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And now we get to move on to the first of many farming simulators. Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life.
Farming Simulator counts for the Nintendo Direct is currently at 1.
Kill me. Can we move on?
We can move on.
Sweet. Farming Simulator, count 2, Splatoon 3.
Wait a second. Is it because you're farming kills against 12-year-olds?
Absolutely, it is. I'm farming paint.
Yeah.
They have their first post-launch Splatfest set for September 23 to 25, and I don't know. There's something weird to me where the whole premise of it is that what would you bring to a desert island? And there are 3 teams. There's Team Gear, Team Grub, and Team Fun. There's a clear winner here, Seth. Which one are you on? Are you on the clear winning team?
If it's Team Gear, then yes.
Okay, incorrect. It's always Team Fun.
I had a feeling you'd go that direction. Even if you were going to say Gear, you just do something to oppose me.
What do you mean? No, it's always Team Fun. Okay, hear me out. You're on a desert island, right?
Okay.
If you're missing more than you currently are, because let's face it, Australia is just a large desert island. If you have gear, cool. You might survive for a bit, and you might have a way of sustaining and making a cool little economy. But you're on a desert island, and you have no hope of survival, so you might as well get it over and done quickly. If you're Team Grub, sure, you might be able to eat, but then you freeze to death, and that's not a way to go out. But if you're Team Fun, you're partying into the sunset hard enough, you barely even notice the dysentery.
So here's my take. If you're on Team Fun, what do you have? Like a bunch of playing cards? Like
no, you have a lot of you have nothing but hookers and cocaine.
Oh, that's a completely different type of fun than what Splatoon is advertising. I might have to reconsider. But Grub,
which is funny because Team Grub also has hookers and cocaine.
Team Grub, well, you got food, but how long's that gonna last? Like a day, a week?
It's true. Strippers and hookers and cocaine last more than a day.
Team Gear, you get to make all of that yourself. You get to
Gear,
make
it's
your
just
own
a little spoon.
Team Gear, you get a knife. You get you have some trees out there. You can make your own hookers and cocaine.
What do you mean? Team Gear is nothing but like a leather strap and a syringe.
Maybe a strap on if you're feeling a little frisky.
Okay, see, now that's something Team Fun would bring. All right, let's not.
This is like the crossover between Gear and Fun.
It's the like giant bicep forearm clutching like overlap, the better together type stuff.
I think the one that is going to cross over between all 3 is a ball gag. It can be used as Gear, Grub, and Fun.
What do you mean? The crossover of all 3 is clearly paint. It's Splatoon 3, Seth. What is wrong with you?
Many things. We can move on.
Instead of psychoanalyzing Seth, we're going to move on, huh? All right. I see how it is. Right. Up next, we have... that's right. Octopath Traveler 2 announced. Octopath Traveler was kind of on my radar, I guess. The art style's sort of interesting, but it just never really grabbed me enough to want to play it.
I had the first one on Switch for a little while. I didn't play all too much of it. I played like 5 or so hours. It's a lot of fun, but it was coming to Steam, and I'm like, you know what? It's been long enough since the last time I played it. I'll get it on Steam later, and I traded in my Switch copy, and then I never bought it on Steam. The thing that's funny about this to me, though, is that Octopath Traveler 2 is announced for Switch, PC, and PlayStation consoles. Octopath Traveler 1 is on everything except for PlayStation consoles, and now 2 is going to be on everything except for Xbox.
Hey, crazy times.
It's a bit weird. Maybe 1 will come to PlayStation closer to 2's launch, but we'll see. Somewhat excited for this. More RPGs are always nice.
More RPGs, huh? I'm so glad that Nintendo Direct for the first time ever is announcing some RPGs in the games lineup. They've never done that before.
Never. They get too many complaints if they even think about it.
Everyone just yells, "Where Pokemon" at the top of their lungs.
Or where Metroid? Where Pikmin?
Well, we know where Pikmin is. Might as well jump to that now. Pikmin Bloom, Game of the Year contender, announced.
Miyamoto, why the fuck did you get up on the video to talk about this for 5 minutes? No one cares about the Pikmin knockoff of Pokemon Go.
I feel like there's an exact moment in the live stream where every Pikmin fan just dies inside when it's announced that it's Pikmin Bloom and not Pikmin 4. But then I think there's like a couple seconds after that where every fan's heart is miraculously restarted in some kind of widespread global miracle that needs more credit than it gets. That Pikmin 4 was announced.
No. To be fair, Pikmin 4 was announced to be close to completion back in 2015. Pikmin 4 was just shown off for the first time to be an actual real video game for the first time.
Ah, that's the difference.
I don't know what Miyamoto was cooking for 7 years there. They came in with not much gameplay and just a couple of screenshots at the Nintendo Direct. But we'll see.
What do you mean? All of those 7 years went into making the greatest mobile game companion app for Pikmin 4 that they could possibly get.
Yes, Pikmin Bloom. I guess he was
Pikmin
also
Bloom
busy.
TD.
I guess he was also busy trying to wrangle Chris Pratt in for the movie.
To voice all the Pikmin.
Yeah. God, how would you even do a Pikmin movie? That would be horrid. It'd be like the least interesting thing. But then again, they made Minions, which are just basic. They're basically Pikmin.
It's true. Although, a lot of them are called Kevin.
They also like bananas, right?
True.
That's
true.
a thing, I think.
They're so relatable.
Super
they wear
relatable.
overalls. I wear overalls. They have jaundice. I have jaundice.
They have speech difficulty. I have speech difficulty.
Sometimes I only have one eye and wear like a monocle goggle. Finally, some representation in media, am I right, fellas? Anyway, let's return to. I was gonna say let's return to the Farm Simulator count. Let's get one more out of the way first. Threat Rhythm Final Bar line announced for PS4 and Switch. Okay, what were your thoughts? I have thoughts on this. What were your thoughts on this?
I am really excited for this. I didn't own the Theatre Rhythm games on the 3DS because I didn't own many games on the 3DS, but I did play the demo of the first one, and I had a lot of fun with that game. That style of rhythm game is really unique to Theatre Rhythm. Yeah, and just getting a new one of these, I didn't expect at all, and I'm very glad to see it back. The track list is going to be huge. They're tackling a lot of things from other sort of Final Fantasy properties besides just the games. So we're going to be seeing things from like the Primals or from Scions and Sinners, which are both Final Fantasy 14 rock soundtracks. We're also getting some of the spin-off games like Stranger of Paradise is getting some stuff. Crystal Chronicles is getting some representation. But they're also going outside of Final Fantasy, and they're going to be doing some music tracks from games like Nier or The World Ends With You or Saga or even Octopath Traveler. And that's really cool. Those side games are going to be DLC, I believe, which sucks a little bit. But in general, this like the track list in the base game itself is going to be very big that I don't think I mind all that much paying a little bit premium to go from like 400 songs to 500 songs.
Okay. That actually made me more excited for it because what I saw, I'm not familiar with the series at all, but what I saw, my gut reaction to it was that it made me really miss Patapon.
Yeah, I can understand that. It does kind of have like a Patapon-ish look to it.
But yeah, okay. No, you've actually helped sell me on that more than me initially looking at it. So thanks, I think.
You're welcome.
But not only are you farming my appreciation, but Nintendo continues with farming simulator announcements.
Two farming simulators. Ha, ha, ha.
Oh, we're not going to start that. We will be here for a while. Next one in that dreaded sub list is Fae Farm announced.
I got nothing on this one. It looks like a thing.
It does. It looks like one of the farming simulators of all time. And another contender for the farming simulator of all time, Rune Factory 3.
Farming simulator count up to 3 as well with this one. Good timing. No, Rune Factory is supposed to be like one of the better farming simulators that are out there. I think it's interesting that they're going like an angle of, hey, you can turn into a monster, like one of the monsters in this one, and interact with the townspeople as a monster, and they have unique dialogue around that.
I don't know. I think Bear and Breakfast did it better.
I've yet to play that.
So have I, but I just on principle, I want to say that it did it better.
But yeah, no, Rune Factory is supposed to be one of like the higher echelon ones when it comes to farming simulators. So yeah, yay for Rune Factory fans. I also hear Bree is one of the better games.
In that case, you're going to be stoked for Farm Simulator announcement number 4, where there's a new Rune Factory game in development.
Yeah, they released 5, I think it was last year in Japan. So it seems like about time that a new one is in development and going to be released probably next year.
Alongside like another 8 or 9 farming simulators.
It's becoming a very big genre.
So my suspicion here is that because like we're getting gameplay trailers and things where there's probably already been somewhere between 6 months and 18 months of development, right? Like maybe more, maybe less, but somewhere in there. I feel like a lot of this was Animal Crossing hitting right as the pandemic did and just doing super well because that's all anyone could do for all of the time they spent in lockdown.
I think that and Stardew Valley.
Yeah, but like every game studio looks at that and goes, "We're not coming out of a pandemic anytime soon. People are stupid."
Yeah,
we want to cash in on that. And you know what? We're gonna improve. We're gonna improve on the formula by not including Isabelle.
That sounds like a downgrade.
I know what I said.
Why would you remove Isabelle? That she's like the heart and soul of Animal Crossing now.
Yeah, rip it out. Tom Nook, he can stay.
Yeah, someone's got to threaten your leg benders.
I've always wanted to have knees that bent the opposite direction. Next one is just a bunch of Nintendo 64 games coming to Nintendo Online expansion. So this one I wasn't 100% clear on. Is this that it's attached to the that like premium Nintendo Switch Online membership?
Yeah, Nintendo 64 games are part of like the higher tier. So
you don't actually own them, you just have access to them while you're the member, right?
Yeah.
And that's like honestly, there's some of the games that they've announced because I was post Nintendo 64 era, like I was trying to think of the Panic at the Disco line, the too old to live, too young to die, whatever that line was. Anyway, yeah, I wasn't a part of the Nintendo 64 era, but
yeah, when it comes to Nintendo games, I'm past the 64 era as well. I was a PS1 kid and then jumped into Nintendo with the GBA and the GameCube.
I was a PS2 kid, so bit of a
one generation jump.
Yeah, but GBA isn't common, so hey, GBA gang, rise up.
GBA gang's so good.
True. But yeah, being able to play things like Pokemon Stadium is like Pokemon Stadium's always been interesting to me. As has I'd never been into Mario Party, and it was funnily enough watching a lot of Alpha Rad content playing Mario Party. Not the Switch one, but the like best of previous. I think it was Superstars.
Probably, yeah.
Anniversary, what the not made for Switch one.
Yeah.
Because I played the made for Switch one, and honestly, having never played a Mario Party, I like to think of myself as a reasonably smart person generally, but the sheer like number of mechanics that the game just threw at you immediately without you as a person having any idea what was going on, and the person whose Switch we were playing on was like, oh yeah, no, you just need to do this, and this. To have a game like Superstars, which is just kind of stripped back, kind of core Mario Party gameplay, keen. And I've heard that's a similar format as Mario Parties 1 through 3, so that's actually kind of interesting to me. Yeah,
no, I'm opposite. I'm a big Mario Party fan. I got in with Mario Party 8, which is like a lot of people's low point in the series. But I really enjoyed that one, and I just kind of went backwards in the series and played some of the older ones. Mario Party 2 and 3 are like just standout classics. They're fantastic games, and they're very simple to get into, honestly. it it's probably like the situation you were in and probably the game you were playing that made it seem a bit overbearing. But they're fairly simple, I find, and very easy to get into. It's just a lot of like trying to juggle when you go into a new mini game is when it gets a little weird. And like, if you're playing with someone that's played before, then they're just going to sweep up. But there is a little bit of learning curve of what you have to do per mini game. But no, it's them coming in. If they have online play, which I don't know if they will on Nintendo Switch Online, but if they do, that's like an extra point on like subscribing and getting it. I want to go back to Pokemon Stadium as well for a little bit. A big appeal of Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 was at the time transferring your Pokemon from the Game Boy games into these games and having them in 3D on the N64. For very obvious reasons, that feature isn't going to be in this. But it seems like there's still, from what I hear, it's still very, very worth playing the game using the rental Pokemon, and you can get a lot of mileage out of the game just through that. So that'll be interesting to see. But it kind of sucks that like the main draw of that game is A, not available, and B, kind of being replaced with like Pokemon moving to Switch now.
Yeah. Also, had to briefly answer a phone call quickly, but did you touch GoldenEye?
I did not, no.
GoldenEye, it's funny. I expected more people to be excited by GoldenEye being announced as coming to Switch than I have seen.
Yeah, no, GoldenEye is very, very popular. It's also coming to Xbox and Game Pass. Yeah, no, this is exciting. It is like one of the foundational FPS games on consoles, and it's rough going back to it, I will admit, but just for like a hit of nostalgia, it'll be fun to play.
Yeah, I didn't really have anything to add. It's just interesting because a few people that I've seen mixed, I guess. Like some people are really keen and will play this instantly, and other people are like, it's all right. But you're right, it is kind of like an institution in the FPS genre. So yeah, just interesting. I think that's basically all the Nintendo 64 stuff. Factorio coming to Switch. Honestly, finally, I think is my take on this.
I don't know a whole lot about Factorio, so I'll just have to leave that one to you.
Yeah, yay from me. I feel like Factorio is the sort of game that should have been on Switch a while ago, but glad that it's finally arriving. I don't know this one at all. Ib coming to Switch.
Ib is a indie horror game that's been around on PC forever. I think they just recently remade it, like upping the visual style of the game while kind of staying true to the original. So it's just cool to see it coming to other things than just being a weird indie thing that's been on PC forever.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, I don't really have anything more to add. In fact, given how many more things we have to get through, might even have to add even less to some of these. For those following at home, Farming Simulator count now at 5. Various Day Life. Like,
what a weird name.
I'm gonna shamelessly rip this from a Donkey video, but who the fuck is naming these?
Square Enix. Just someone at Square Enix. They have like a dartboard there where they throw 2 darts, and whatever they land on is the name of the title. That's how we got Octopath like Traveler and Triangle Strategy.
Yeah, Triangle Strategy. Bravely
Diofield
Default.
Chronicles somehow. Diofield is a very weird name to be up on the dartboard, but they managed.
Someone lost a bet.
It was me, Dio. And my field.
Yeah, it's a nay for me, as I'm not that interested in farming simulators, but
I hear it's very good, but I'm not too interested in it.
Yeah. Mario Strikers adding Diddy Kong and Pauline.
Pauline I can accept as a DLC character, but Diddy should have been there day one.
My issue isn't even that they're adding characters, it's that I don't know anyone that is still playing Mario Strikers.
Yeah, no, I think people fell off that game like a week later.
Yeah, and I
not
was
even
one
a
that
week.
I fell off. I fell off on the weekend. I bought it on Friday, played it all weekend and enjoyed it, and then it came to Monday, stopped it, and just never picked it up again.
Yeah,
my issue is that
I think it was AlphaRad or someone like a similar YouTuber like did that game and like in like a day they're like, okay, I've seen everything this game has to offer. I'm done.
There were definitely a few YouTubers that were in that boat. The issue for me is that it's all well and good to announce DLC, but I feel like they would make the game way more replayable if they just changed some of the core gameplay mechanics. Well, not change. There's nothing wrong with them, but it's the fact that there's only 4v4 with with like a time limit. So it's weird that they're introducing more DLC characters when if they change that,
but they're not adding more game modes to
exactly
extend the life.
If they changed it to a different number of characters on each team, or if they adjusted how the game actually plays, so it's not just the same thing with different characters each time, I think that would draw more people back than just announcing Diddy Kong and Pauline. But
yeah, or maybe like some weird party modes, just something to spice up the game.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, next up, Atelier.
Yeah.
Whatever. Rise of 3 coming to PlayStation, Switch, and PC.
Now with more
February
Phis.
2023. Now with what?
Now with more Phis.
Cool.
Atelier Pfizer is a big meme that runs through that game's life because obviously she has big Phis.
I'm glad that you helped me solve the mystery on that one. It was real confusing for a bit. Mario Kart 8 showing off 2 DLC courses, which is still weird to me that Mario Kart 8 is still the most up-to-date Mario Kart game.
Yeah, would have thought they would have done 9 by now. Yeah, but instead they're like, here's an entire game's worth of DLC coming out instead.
Yeah.
Which honestly I can kind of respect. 8 is a very solid game in itself.
Oh, it is. There's nothing wrong with it. It's definitely my favorite Mario Kart game. It's just funny given that so much of Nintendo Direct is this game being remade, this game coming to this platform, whatever, and then Mario Kart was silenced, or like it started as like a Switch seller, even though it was available on Wii U as well, and then stayed silent, and then earlier this year announced all the DLC for Mario Kart 8 of half the cost of the game for a huge amount more tracks. And I guess we wait another 5 years and then get Mario Kart 9?
5 years if we're lucky. But no, it's what's weird to me about this is they only showed 2 of the tracks. They're saving the next 2 for like whenever the tracks are actually gonna drop. And honestly, I kind of would prefer just to wait and see all 4 tracks whenever they're ready to come out. Like this is
they have to announce something in the Direct.
Besides the farming simulators?
Farming simulators and DLC racetracks. Let's go. Yeah, and sorry, anything more I didn't mean to cut you off. Anything more to add that you wanted to that?
No, not really. I just kind of like I don't want to sound like I'm spoiled by this being here. It's just like I could have waited to see more. They didn't need to show this here.
Right, next up, Nintendo Switch Sports delays the golf game, or the golf update, which
this game should never have launched without the golf.
Yeah, it was because this is the new Nintendo Switch Sports, and there were like 2. There was like the games that they had at launch, and then there was the game that was coming like day 2, and then there was a couple games that were coming later on. I'm assuming golf was one of those?
Yeah, golf was going to be one of them later on because they were working on doing like big multiplayer stuff for it.
Oh, of course they were.
And because of that big multiplayer stuff, I'm assuming it's been delayed.
Womp womp. Next up, Square Enix announcing, I love this. They announced a simulation adventure game called Katsogu Danshi Elements with Emotions, but no part of this seems like a simulation.
Yeah, no, I got nothing on this one, man. I'm gonna skim through the trailer again real quick, but I don't know what to glean from this at all. Besides, it's got a bunch of nice character designs.
Yeah, I just article from Gematsu. Most of these are from Gematsu. Square Enix has announced adventure simulation game Kitsogu Danshi Elements with Emotions, and then in Kitsogu Danshi Elements with Emotions, players will guide those who possess powers of chemical elements. Like, yeah, okay, real simulation-y. Got it.
Yeah, I don't know what the simulation aspect of this is going to be.
No, neither. Anything in the trailer, or are we good to move on?
We're good to move on.
Sweet. Moving on. Resident Evil being added to Switch via cloud gaming. Whew. Cannot wait.
These will not run at all. I think Resident Evil 7 is already on cloud gaming on Switch, but literally only in Japan. It never left.
And it's a shame. Next up, we have yet another body count farming simulator.
6.
Harvestella demo.
Yeah, this one's neat. This is more leaning towards being an RPG than it is being a farming simulator, thankfully. So it's got that going for it. I haven't downloaded a demo. I'm not that interested right now, but apparently it does like a decent chunk of the game, and it seems to be doing fairly well.
Next up, we have Bayonetta 3.
All right, I'll just take over this real quick.
Thank you.
They didn't show a whole lot during the Nintendo Direct itself, but they showed an 8-minute gameplay breakdown afterwards. It took a little bit, but it eventually came through. It's more of the Bayonetta that we know and love. They're adding a lot of it goes through like just the general things that we already know about it, like the punch kicks using guns, the hidden verses. The things that are interesting is that there's in Bayonetta's combat now, she can summon in her demons now to fight for her, and she can weave back and forth between doing her combos to summoning the demons to doing big finisher attacks. Whenever she's summoning a demon, though, because of how it works in lore, she's stuck stationary doing her dance around, and she's vulnerable, so you've kind of got to keep an eye out of enemies kind of sneaking in, stealing hits against Bayonetta and breaking that focus. But it's really cool just seeing these big kaiju type monsters being thrown out to completely obliterate the battlefield every now and then. They've also changed up traversal options. So in Bayonetta 1 and 2, you had you could turn into a panther for running, a crow for flying a little bit, and a snake for underwater travel. This time, instead of doing those, you just turn into whatever demon you have equipped at the moment. And depending on whatever demon you have, they have different types of traversal movements for them. So, from what I gleaned, Madama Butterfly just kind of like glides around a little bit. But you also have a spider demon that you can do a jump into a swing into climbing up walls with them, which seems really cool. And I think that's all that's new for Bayonetta herself, which puts us into the new character Viola. Oh, excuse me, sorry, one moment. Viola seems to be taking a lot of cues from Raiden and Sam from Metal Gear Rising. She seems to be doing a lot of what they do in those games. So she's got like the katana parry. She seems to have like Sam's taunt system and charging up all his attacks to do like big slashes that do a lot of multi-hit damage. She can also throw out her swords to summon her demon Cheshire Cat. And while that's out, she's not doing the dance like Bayonetta does. That's the Cheshire is her weapon itself. So she's just free to run around and do punch and kick combos while that's out fighting enemies for her. And something that I really appreciate is that while she's playable, she has a different style of music. So Bayonetta's all about like smooth jazz and kind of light music like that. When Viola is the one being played, it's kind of like Avril Lavigne and Paramore style pop rock that's playing in the background, and I absolutely love that style change. It opposes Bayonetta really well, and it's just a very good genre of music in general.
That's cool. Anything more to add on Bayonetta 3?
Very excited for that game. Very, very excited. Probably one of my contenders for Game of the Year. I will be very happy to play that on emulation instead of playing it on hardware because it will not run on Switch.
Good. Next up in the list, Danganronpa. The developers of Danganronpa announced Master Detective Archives Raincode launching in spring. Yay or nay?
Yay, because Danganronpa games are very good. They didn't show a whole lot for it yet besides pretty good looking character designs. Need to see more of it.
Yeah, fair. Speaking of things that I don't think will run well on Switch, Crisis Core.
Yeah, Crisis Core is getting a lot of gameplay shown lately, but what was shown on the Nintendo Direct itself was confirming that the release date is going to be December 13, putting it directly in this year's releases.
Yeah.
Very excited about that. Very stupid that Square Enix is charging $70 for a remake of a fucking PSP game, though. So I'm waiting for a price drop before I buy it.
Yeah, fair enough. Next up, Clap Hands releasing Easy Come Easy Golf for Switch. Great title. Title alone almost makes it a yay for me.
What makes it an even bigger yay for me is that Clap Hands are the people that made Everybody's Golf and Hot Shots Golf on the PlayStation consoles. They haven't gone to make a new one of those since the Vita, I think. Oh, no, there was that PS4 multiplayer one. But it's been a very long time, and I don't think Sony's doing another one. So, them going to Switch and making a golf game called Easy Come Easy Golf just kind of screams petty bitch to me, and I love it.
Nice. Radiant Silvergun released for Switch. Don't know anything about this one either.
I think it's a shmup. I've heard Radiant Silvergun brought up a lot. This will make people happy, so yay.
Cool. Tales from Symphonia announced for current gen consoles.
Boo, it's 30 FPS. Boo! It was 60 FPS on the GameCube. Why did they cut the frame rate in half?
Because now you have two controllers instead of one. You got half in each Joy-Con.
I think you could have played 2 players on the GameCube version, actually. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Hey, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here, right?
Never give Bandai Namco the benefit of the doubt.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe coming to Switch. This one, cool. I knew a reasonable amount about Kirby, like sort of late 90s, early 2000s era, and then didn't follow it for ages, and then picked it up again with like Star Allies and Forgotten Land, which I still haven't played actually. But I'm yay just because more Kirby is more Kirby.
Yeah, no, this is good. And Return to Dreamland was like the beginning of that Star Allies type of style of game coming back. Because between 64 and Return to Dreamland, they were doing a bunch of like weird... like
the Yarn ones, right?
Yeah, the Yarn ones, Kirby's Air Ride. There was that Squeak Squad, a few other different like experimental games. So this was like a big return to form for Kirby, and a lot of people really loved that. So getting it on modern hardware is really appreciated.
Yeah. And finally, the news that everyone, I think, was expecting in this Nintendo Direct, and they got, the sequel to, the sequel to Zelda Breath of the Wild is no longer called the sequel to Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Thank you. Jeff Keighley finally has a name to put onto his awards show for it to win one more most anticipated game award.
Yep. It's been confirmed that it's now going to be called Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which, real unfortunate timing.
Yeah, they didn't have the Nintendo Direct streaming in the UK, and immediately people would start thinking, maybe they didn't do it because of the name of this game. Also worth noting, it's launching May 12th, 2023.
Yeah, worth noting that. And also in what they showed, I think they showed enough, honestly. I know some people are back and forth about whether they should have shown more, but they showed a little bit of gameplay, but mostly hinting at just how big the map is going to be for this one.
Yeah,
that
and
was one of the selling points, and it looks huge.
Yeah, and it's like multi-layered as well, so like the word tears can also be used like the other way of saying tiers, where it's like multiple layers of a area.
You'll be crying tears of joy.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to make a quick comment on this. The length between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is actually longer than the gap between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild was, which is insane to think of because Skyward Sword to Breath of the Wild, they were building a completely new game. Tears of the Kingdom, they were building off an existing game and making more and building on top of it. So you would have thought the development time would have been shorter, not longer.
Hopefully it's good, though. It looks good. I know a lot of people are excited for it.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild, I stand by saying that it was a very good base, and I think they could have improved on it. So I'm very excited to see Tears of the Kingdom and see if they can make it better.
Because it was like a selling point for the Switch, and I think with that in mind, it was a good selling point for the Switch. So now it'd be cool to see them build, I guess, a more fully realized game within, within what was set up in Breath of the Wild 1. But that brings us to the end of the Nintendo list,
which was also the biggest one. So thankfully, everything's going to be a bit faster than that.
Yeah, and now we get to move on to PlayStation State of Play. Opening up, Tekken 8 announced. Yay.
Man, this was such a ballin' trailer. They started strong.
Yep. I have Tekken 7. I've played little bits of it on PC, but I think it was Tekken 5 was the big one that I was into.
Same. I really like Tekken 7. I've played it a lot, but Tekken 3 and Tekken 5 were like, those were my babies. Tekken 3 I played a lot with my uncles and aunts as a very small child. And then Tekken 5 was the one I played a lot with my brothers because I was a bit older, wasn't seeing the extended family as much. But me and my brothers would sit around the PlayStation 2 and just play that a lot. Also, Dark Resurrection on PSP. That made me sink a ton of time into that game.
Yep. Dark Resurrection was very good. So yeah, yay for me.
Big yay for me. They're saying they put a note in that it was all in-engine footage. It's all being... Everything that was shown is assets for the game itself, showing from a moment in the story. The new story mode that's going to be happening. Story this time is going to be focusing around Jin versus Kazuya after the last game wrapped up Heihachi versus Kazuya. Kazuya is a big shit, or in the middle of all these family rivalries. No, it looks really cool. They're moving to Unreal Engine 5 now as well, so big graphical improvement from Tekken 7.
Yeah. Are you more excited for Street Fighter or Tekken 8?
Tekken 8.
Street Fighter 6 or Tekken 8?
Tekken 8. Tekken is like my baby for the fighting games. Like there's games I like better, like Guilty Gear, but Tekken is like coming home for me.
Cool. Relatable. It's a shame we don't have Josh here to defend.
Yeah. I also hope that they add rollback netcode to Tekken 8 so that it can finally function good online. Because Tekken 7 matches online fucking suck.
Yeah. Next up, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Edge, announced for PSVR 2.
I like this quite a bit because they didn't show a single lightsaber. Seeing you as like, I don't know if you're going to be a bounty hunter in this game, but just like someone with a blaster exploring the Star Wars universe is pretty neat.
I like the idea
get that.
If you were to just be a stormtrooper and it's just 5 hours of gameplay of you just trying to hit anything.
Yeah. If the game's just hard coded so that you never hit, no matter how good your aim is. God, so the fucking scene between the two stormtroopers like trying to shoot a can in Mandalorian season 1, that's like hands down my favorite Star Wars scene ever.
You're gonna have to explain why. I haven't seen The Mandalorian.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. So it you know Taika Waititi, right?
I do.
This was from an episode that he directed. So it's just like these two stormtroopers standing together, kind of having a chat, and it's just comedy gold of them like chatting, and then there's a thing that's in front of them, so they both try to shoot it, but every single shot just misses by an inch, and it's one of the best scenes in Star Wars. You need to see it.
Yeah, I'll have to go find it. Sounds great.
They were also told to stop hitting the Baby Yoda doll because the thing cost millions of dollars, and if they broke it, it'd be on them. Because there's a scene where one of them has to hit him on the top of the head because it bit his finger.
Right. I feel like that might be funnier if I'd seen The Mandalorian. Anyway. Next up, Demio coming to PSVR 2 as well.
I hear this is already out on PC and is a very good game.
Cool.
So
sure.
Yeah. Just more stuff coming to PSVR 2 to fill up the library, I guess, which is nice. You want a big library at launch when this comes out.
Yeah, definitely. Next up in the list, though, Hogwarts Legacy, showing that sweet PlayStation exclusive quest that surprised everyone when it was announced out of the blue 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, too bad we don't have Steven here, resident Hogwarts Legacy fan that's not going to buy it because he never buys games at full price.
And he's not going to buy it because he doesn't have a PlayStation either, right?
Yeah, he's not going to do this quest because he doesn't have a PlayStation.
No matter how many $500 special editions he buys.
It's neat looking. It's being trapped in a haunted Hogsmeade seems pretty interesting, but couldn't glean a lot from it besides that. It's a very quickly cut trailer.
Well, it's probably because they need to get back to making sure that they're able to ship it next year.
Yeah. Make sure it's shippable by February, I think it was.
Yeah, that's about right. Next up on the list, this one I'm super excited for, actually. Survival driving game, Pacific Drive, was announced for PS5 and PC. This, I'm a little nervous for, but quite excited for, because this, to me, has like shades of Thumper, and there was one other game that I felt like was a good comparison. Don't quite remember. But they have all of the elements here of making a really enticing game. Maybe it might have been Alan Wake.
Maybe I do get like a little bit of like Alan Wake vibes just from the lighting.
Yeah, the lighting and the kind of like unknowable
the atmosphere.
Unknowable atmosphere that's hostile. And The Mist, I think, was the other one. As the movie / show, not the game.
There's also like a very unique take on like a survival game from what I understand.
That's why I'm excited. I'm slightly skeptical in that they showed off you driving in a station wagon with little excerpts of story playing and you just trying to just drive. And I'm excited for that because that you could build in quite a lot of narrative into making that an enjoyable game. Where it could fall over is, unfortunately, survival horror is very easy to extend the mechanics available to you. But if all of the mechanics are set up around survival horror in a car, you become limited into what would feasibly work in a horror game, I feel, at least, without knowing too much more about the game than what they showed. So I'm skeptical. I suspect it'll be the sort of thing where everyone will play through a couple levels and it'll be great. I'm just nervous what the full gameplay looks like if they're not able to innovate within the gameplay as the game plays out, and it might get a little bit stale.
Yeah, I can see that. I understand where you're coming from. Like, if limiting it to the car can be a problem if they don't do it well enough. The car has to basically be a character in itself and have its own mechanics around it to vary up and keep the gameplay interesting throughout the playthrough.
Yeah. And I really want it to fire nothing but quippy one-liners like every Marvel film.
Knight Rider.
Yes, exactly like Knight Rider. Next up, we have PlayStation Stars digital collectibles, which are totally not NFTs.
Absolutely not. So, Patrick, you were a PS3 person, right?
It's true. Yes.
Do you remember the height of the PS3 era known as PlayStation Home?
No.
Oh god. Okay. So you know all this this metaverse talk going on at the moment where everyone's like, oh, you can make your own avatar and go into a digital space
that
and
thing. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll since I already started down that line of thought, anyways, for the viewers, PlayStation Home was this virtual space for PlayStation 3 where you had your own little apartment. You could decorate it. You could make your customize your avatar. But you could also go out and kind of like play bowling with people, play a pool, watch game trailers, watch game events, do mini games based around different games, and unlock awards for them. Like I believe there was one for Uncharted 2 and one for Killzone 2 at some point. It was a neat little thing. It was fun. I was one of those unfortunate people that got 100% trophies in it. This whole digital collectible thing would have made a lot more sense to me if it was during that PlayStation Home era where you do activities, you earn these rewards, and you can show them off in your apartment as like these trophies that you would have gotten. And they talked about that at one point with PlayStation Home, but they never implemented it. Probably because it was already on its downfall by that point.
So these aren't NFTs though, right?
These are absolutely not NFTs, no. These are just
in
like...
In no way are these non-fungible tokens.
These are not fungible.
So
not non-fungible.
Yeah, there we go. So these are fungible tokens.
Yes.
100%
I think these will just
table, freshly picked fungible tokens.
I believe this will just be 3D models associated to your PSN account that you can just look at in like a digital collectible viewer or something.
And are available on DigitalOcean.
Yes. Bought with Ethereum.
What was the what was the one that we covered a couple weeks ago where only if you had access to not DigitalOcean, one of the other marketplaces, only for as long as there was
a cloud figurine. Some Square Enix figurines.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And you get the physical one, but you also get a digital certificate and a digital figurine that's hosted on like OpenSea or something.
Yeah, that's right. God, what a time to be alive.
Born too late to explore the world, born too early to explore the stars, born just in time to live through the hell of NFTs.
That was the quote I was trying to look for earlier. But very true. Bandai Namco announces a sci-fi mech game, Sin Duality, coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. This one, actually, got feeling to watching the trailer for this one. Reminded me of Armored Core.
Yeah, I was getting Armored Core vibes from it as well, just from the mech design. A little bit of the new Sakura Wars as well, but that's a little more out of left field. No one knows what Sakura Wars is besides me. But I had to get my comments out there.
Right. Don't.
A little bit of Death Stranding as well, kind of, from like the vibes of walking around and picking things up.
Yeah, true. But yeah, that looked interesting.
I need to see a deeper look into the game, but just what they showed seems pretty neat.
It's not a strong yay, but it's not a nay yet.
Oh,
so.
I believe they also, for this game, they confirmed that there's going to be multiplayer in it, and you will have to compete with other players for resources that are out in the world.
So it is NFTs.
Yes. Video game NFT.
Got it. Sweet. Next we have Saif.
Yes.
You're part of the Ubisoft team when everyone's like, "Hey, you should make an Assassin's Creed in Japan," and your default response to that would be,
yeah, they should have made one in Japan by now.
No. But you're part of that team.
Oh,
so your response is,
yeah, it's exciting to be finally making an Assassin's Creed set in Japan.
No, you know what? I should have fed you notes beforehand. It's okay. You're not media trained like I am. Don't worry about it. So Saif here, the production head of every Assassin's Creed game ever, constantly fields questions such as, when is Assassin's Creed going to Japan? and every time.
You
Seth,
meant like that. I thought you meant like now that one's finally happening. How do I react?
No.
Sorry,
this is like
that was a big misread from me.
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you a month ago.
Yeah, okay. Or me 10 years ago to a month ago.
Wait, exactly. Where you're up on your high horse and you're like, we'll never do an Assassin's Creed in Japan. You don't know what you want. And then they announce it.
No. It's we know what you want. You think you know what you want, but you don't. We know what you want.
True.
You want France.
You want pirates again. Trust us. And so now they're like they've kicked their feet and they've begrudgingly gone, fine, we'll give the people what they want and make an Assassin's Creed in Japan. Meanwhile, Team Ninja, it's like, oh boy.
You know what was a cool game? Ghost of Tsushima. We should do that.
True. Everyone going, hey, can we have the Assassin's Creed in Japan? And they say, no, the Assassin's Creed in Japan machine is broken.
And Ubisoft's like, finally, we will do it. And everyone else is like, we're already doing it. You can go home.
But the demo the game is Rise of the Ronin, coming for PS5.
Looks fantastic.
The trailer looked so good.
Yeah, it's basically open world Neo, but in Japan. But also, I guess it's like them following the trend of just following along what From Software did. So From Software did Demon Souls and Dark Souls, so they did Neo. Now they've done Elden Ring, so now they're doing Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah, checks out.
But the thing that I really love about these is that every time they make a new game in this type of formula, they take one step closer to just making a new Ninja Gaiden game again. And I cannot wait for the day where they just finally hit that formula and go, oh, hey, this is just Ninja Gaiden. This is just an action game.
They do it and they release it, and all of the media is like, hey, they're doing a new Ninja Gaiden game. And they're like, guys, please stop calling it that. It's not a new Ninja Gaiden game.
But no, this looks fantastic. I am really excited for this. And also just straight up hard PS5 exclusive. We're finally getting out of that situation of everything is cross-gen.
Yeah. Next up, though, we have...
Sorry. One last thing on that.
Thing?
One last thing on that. They announced it's going to be a 2024 game. So, that's going to be a bit of a wait.
Worth it though, if the trailer.
Oh yeah,
if the trailer is to be benchmarked.
Yeah, no doubt. It looks like it'll be worth the wait.
Finally, from the stated playlist, we have God of War Ragnarok, giving us a limited edition controller and a story trailer. I actually haven't seen the story trailer because I already know that I'm going to play this however I can.
Yeah, fair enough. The story trailer was really well done. I'm not too big into the new God of War games, but even then, this trailer was really nice to look at. It had really amazing visuals throughout it, some really cool set piece moments, and it was just a really, really well done trailer. Like, I don't want to say I'm excited for the game, but I can appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah, big yay for me. Right, that brings us to the end of Sony's list, which... Wow, that actually felt fast by comparison.
Yeah, it was it like in actual runtimes of these events, Nintendo was 40 minutes, Sony was 20 minutes, and I feel like they jammed a lot of better stuff in that 20 minutes than Nintendo did in their 40.
Cool. For the shit. Ryu Go Gotoku?
Ryu Ga Gotoku. Ryu Go Gotoku.
I was pretty close.
Yeah.
Studio announcements. Like a Dragon featured heavily.
Okay, so if you want to make if you want me to make this easier for you, by the way, Ryu Go Gotoku is just Like a Dragon. So Like a Dragon Studios, if you want to make it easier for your life.
Now I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, no, I did that on purpose just to trip you up.
Yeah, cool. Why did I come back again?
You had no choice. It wasn't even for the love of the podcast. It was just you had no choice.
It was like It Chapter 2, where there's just a strange compulsion forcing me to go back to where it all began. Anyway, do you want to take these announcements? I know so little about any of these.
Sure thing. Like a Dragon Ishin finally coming to the West on February 21st, 2023. Ishin was a game that came out at the very beginning of the PS4's life cycle, and it was during the era where Like a Dragon games were not being localized anymore. Yakuza 4 did pretty horribly, so they skipped out on Yakuza 5. I think right near the end of the PS3's life cycle, they finally did Yakuza 5 on PS3 localized, but it was digital only. And so a lot of people missed out of it, and that tanked even harder. So they're just like, no, we're done. No more Yakuza games in the West. They do really poorly. So Ishin was a spin-off where it's set in the 1860s for Japan. They take the Yakuza characters and just put them into that setting as like the major figureheads of that era. And they just tell a very well done story of that era. And
so it's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, basically. So this is another Assassin's Creed Japan, is what I'm getting at.
Nice.
Yeah. It's I believe this is the end of like the samurai era. For Japan as well. I don't know the history too well. I believe that's the case though. And yeah, no, it just finally coming out to the West is very exciting. It's being completely remade, being done on Unreal Engine 5 now. It seems like this is going to be a test to test out Unreal Engine 5 and if they want to move over to the engine, because the current engine they use is really old at this point. I believe that made its debut in 2014, so it's about 8 years old now. Yeah, no, exciting news for Like a Dragon fans. Just rolling on to the next one, Like a Dragon 8 was announced. This is continuing on from Like a Dragon 7, where Ichiban was the main character for that one. Ichiban will now be sharing the protagonist role with Kiryu for this game. Kiryu is going to be coming back. They're keeping the RPG gameplay. Kiryu will be having his own party of characters, so it'll be like 2 different storylines happening side by side. Kiryu also looks very fucked up in this game. They did my man's haircut very badly for a reason. I'm guessing he's supposed to be undercover because the city he's in, people shouldn't be recognizing him. He wants to keep his identity as low as possible. So now he looks like a 40-year-old J-pop idol.
Well, isn't it also so that way, depending on the Joy-Cons you're using, you get to change his hairstyle?
Unfortunately not, since this is a PlayStation and Xbox and PC game rather than a Switch game. Also, since you reminded me, the current head of the studio came out and said that they're not putting the games on Switch because they believe that Switch is too family friendly and the Yakuza games would not do well on those consoles for being too mature. They're literally calling Nintendo's consoles the Fisher-Price consoles of the industry.
I mean, are they wrong though?
They're not wrong, no.
That's funny.
And the final one is Like a Dragon Gaiden. The Man Who Erased His Name was announced for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. This is going to be a game about Kiryu taking place between the Yakuza 6 and Yakuza 7 and 8 storyline, just explaining what his story is, bridging the gap between those.
Sweet. And you might as well just hit the last one on the list as well.
Yep.
On such a roll.
Judgment and Lost Judgment are now available on PC. They were being held back for a long time. I don't have a confirmation for this. It's just something I read. But apparently the CEO of the company, the hiring agency, the talent agency, I mean, for the main character, the CEO of that company died recently, and that means that he was the one holding them back from releasing it on PC, and now they can. Like, the moment he dropped into the grave, they just went right into it.
That seems harsh, but alright. Don't really have much to add to any of that. do you want me to read out the note about Yakuza being rebranded?
I think I already talked about that
like a
earlier.
dragon? Yeah.
I think I did that when I went into the Ishin thing. But sure. Like we said, Ryugo Gotoku is the name of the studio. It's also the name of the games in Japan. It just translates to Like a Dragon. And they're rebranding the series from Yakuza to Like a Dragon here. Like, I tried to keep Yakuza as minimal as possible in that list as I was talking about the games, because they're just straight up doing a rebrand now. And I appreciate just going the mile to make it line up with every other territory.
Yeah, makes sense, really. But that brings us to the end of that list.
The lists are getting shorter and shorter as we go.
They're also getting in lower and lower quality because we've got the Xbox showcase next.
Boo. This show sucks. This show really sucks.
Well, start with the Persona 5 trailer.
It was a Persona 5 trailer. That game is 6 years old.
Yep. Love that it's finally getting some love on Xbox. Next up, we have Wolong Fallen Dynasty showing a developer interview video. With a little bit of gameplay.
Little bits of gameplay was nice to see. There were a few confirmations there, like the character creator and some cool looking things in there. But it was mostly a lot of the developers talking about like why they wanted to go with the Three Kingdoms stories rather than doing another game set in Japan. For the record, this is also Team Ninja who are doing Rise of the Ronin. Wolong is
saying, God forbid we do more games in Japan.
Yeah, after doing Neo and then going into Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah.
Their schedule is this year they did Stranger of Paradise, next year they're doing Wolong, and then the year after that they're doing Rise of the Ronin. Very busy studio, but all quality games.
Next up, finally, we have the much anticipated game, which I don't believe is out anywhere else yet. BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle.
Oh no! You're mistaken. This game is old as fuck. No one cares.
I know.
I know. I was playing along with the bit.
Okay, I needed to be clear, just because there are a few that like many of these games I do not know and have not played. BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, I admittedly haven't played, but I know that it's old as fuck.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, cool, it's coming to Xbox, but I don't think we needed a showcase bit for it.
Although I think we can both agree that even though Guilty Gear Strive is maybe not old as fuck status, but certainly not new, that coming to Xbox is
also cool, but again, not showcase worthy.
No. Yeah, not really much to say.
At this point, I feel like they just threw in Japanese games coming to Xbox and said, we're in Japan, we'll just show these off. Because we have nothing else.
We know what the people want. Yeah. Exoprimal, is that the...
That is the Capcom game where you are in mechas fighting against dinosaurs. It looks sick. The story trailer was pretty cool. Honestly, I didn't know what to talk about from the story trailer, other than it seems like people are being transported through time and space to do this exoprimal test, and people are also very privy into shooting each other in the back and backstabbing each other. So it'll be interesting to see where the story goes, I guess. But this is definitely not a game I'm looking into for story. This is a game I'm looking into shooting dinosaurs.
From a mech.
A mech that can also be used like a samurai.
Finally, a game for the people.
I've seen some of those mechas do virtual combos. I'm very excited for that.
Imagine juggling a dinosaur with a mech.
God, yes, I need that.
Finally, I can remove Pacific Rim from Wish as a list of things that I want in a video game. Pacific Rim? No, it is Pacific Rim.
Rift.
I keep doing that.
No, Pacific Rift is the Motorstorm game.
Yeah, see, that's why I need to.
God,
I catch myself every time.
We've done this earlier in the podcast too.
every time I bring it up, I always have to catch myself and make sure that it's the right one that I'm talking about.
It's just Pacific Drift makes so much sense as a mecha name.
Well, no, it's because like Pacific Rim is all about how there is a rift to another dimension in the bottom, of the tectonic
so
plate.
you'd want that to be Pacific Rift.
So you'd want that to be Pacific Rift. And Pacific Rift, the MotorStorm game, is just set on a bunch of fake islands along the Pacific Rim tectonic plate because of all the variable conditions and bits and pieces that are there. So you'd think that one would be called Pacific Rim. But no.
They just need to shake hands and officially swap titles.
They do. And then give us a remake.
Yes.
Or just me specifically a remake. Like I'm not picky.
Or just a modern re-release. Like, don't even remake it. Just port it to PS5. It can be the exact same game running at 720p, and I'll still be happy.
I would buy it day one. Right. Yeah. Next one, Ni no Kuni 1 and 2 coming to Xbox 2023.
Old as fuck.
Great.
Yeah. Super old.
So glad the much anticipated game Ni no Kuni 1 and 2 finally making their way to Xbox.
I don't think they're even that popular games, and the funny thing is that both Steve and Josh like these games. At least they liked Ni no Kuni 1.
Next, Danganronpa V3 Anniversary Edition.
Wait. Old as fuck.
Old as fuck? Yep, knew it.
Man, what's with this show and just ports of old as fuck Japanese games?
There was a so that's what happened with Xbox this time. There was one. It might have been Nintendo. There was one that we've covered previously, sometime this year, where
I think it was the last Nintendo Direct, actually.
Maybe it was.
Besides Pokemon, it was all ports.
Yeah, it probably was Nintendo. I feel like it was Nintendo, but just everything that they announced was just like, oh, okay, why?
Why did you make a show out of this?
Yeah, just give us the Pokemon news and fuck off. Next we have Overwatch 2 revealing Kinko.
Yeah, she leaked a week ago. It was very embarrassing about all the things around her. Like they showcased a letter between the 4 Japanese characters, all just talking about enjoying sushi and ramen and Japanese things. It was incredibly dense and somewhat racist, thinly veiled racism. So of course they showed a Japanese character at the Japanese gaming event. Also,
well done, Xbox.
Also, while we're on Overwatch for a second, Overwatch 2 is about to come out. I knew that they were going to be supporting that if Overwatch 2 is going to be free to play. Sorry, I'm jumbling up my words trying to get like my head around what I want to say. Overwatch 2 was just going to be part of the same launcher, but apparently they're shutting down the servers for Overwatch 1, so people have to move to Overwatch 2. So
well, if it wasn't Activision Blizzard doing Activision Blizzard things.
Yeah, no, and Overwatch 2's PvP, I know, is like, I believe they cut it down to 4v4, or it was 5v5, and the original was 6v6, or the whatever. It was one extra player on each one for Overwatch 1, so I imagine people would have wanted to still do those game modes, and nope. The moment Overwatch 2 is coming out, that will not be available.
Bum 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 bum. Yeah, I don't think I know anyone that's even interested. Like, I know people that will jump into Overwatch 1 every so often just because it
scratches an itch.
Yeah, so somewhere down in that cesspool of toxicity, there is a fun game. But I don't know anyone that's excited for Overwatch 2 for it being Overwatch 2.
I don't know anyone that's
of Overwatch 1.
I don't know anyone that's even slightly interested in this.
But hey, if you're sad that Babylon's Fall is shutting down, maybe Overwatch 2 is the game for you.
That will live. They'll force it to live.
Yeah, I know. They have more than enough money to keep that going for a while.
Remember how Overwatch 1 was supposed to be a 10-year plan?
Vaguely.
I don't know. I just wanted to mention that it's been nowhere near 10 years, and they're moving on to a second game.
But remember, the second game was the second game it's basically just like a minor update to the first game, really. Like
yeah, but shutting down the service for the first one in favor of the second.
Them completely shutting the first one down is just entirely circumstantial.
Yeah, it's just to save a little bit of money. That's all.
Yeah, it's true. Hard times, really hard times. Pandemic. Bobby Kotick with the Microsoft merger.
Activision Blizzard is a very small company. You gotta excuse some of their money saving tactics.
Yeah, if anything, we should be giving them more money, which is why I will go out and purchase a shit ton of Diablo Immortal premium currency.
Also, real quick, I want to roll back to Wo Long for a second. They just dropped a demo for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X. The demo is going to run until September 25th. So if you're listening to this and you want to try out that game and have next-gen consoles, get on that quickly.
That's a very small group of people, I think.
I know it is specifically me, Trinity, Josh, and Steven.
Wow, that's crazy. It's almost like you named everyone in Fast Travel Lounge, but I think you might have been missing someone. I'll figure it out later.
You don't have a PS5 or a Series X. I know.
No,
I
want to be included.
You weren't even meant to be here.
Oh my god! Fine, I'll leave.
Good. I can take over the host seat again. Yeah. So moving on from Overwatch 2, we have Power World is coming to Xbox. You know that Pokemon clone that's all about slave labor.
What the fuck is Power World?
I just explained it. It's the Pokemon clone that's all about slave labor.
Sounds like shit Temtem.
I believe I sent it. You know what? It kind of is. I believe I've sent you gifs of this before, but just real quick.
Maybe.
Just real quickly, I will send you a trailer to take a look at while I badly talk over the fact that I'm looking for a link to send to you. Yeah, no, it's just straight up has a bunch of Pokemon rip-off designs. You run around with an AK-47 shooting at them. You get into like Arceus-style battles with them as well while shooting them. You put a penguin into a rocket launcher and blow up towers with them.
Oh my god. See, I always knew that the thing that was missing from Pokemon Legends Arceus were the was the sight of bootlegged Pikachu getting smacked by a bobsled twice.
Or a Lapras with rocket launchers. And then sending Rowlet into the mines for slave labor. No,
I mean, hey, he's got to earn his rent somehow.
This is the official announcement that this game will be supported on Xbox.
Who is this for?
Me. It's actually for me. I fucking love this. It looks so stupid. I will play it.
This looks like the mod where it's just it's you running around. I think it might actually be running around Blood Gulch from Halo 1, but they've just stuck a whole bunch of Pokemon models in there and given you a variety of weapons.
Yeah, that sounds like something that's up my alley.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you have to shoot all 150 before you can unlock the chance to battle Mewtwo.
I believe it's just slated for a 2023 release. We know nothing about it besides that. You know, besides that trailer where we know everything about it.
I was gonna say, I think we figured everything out about the trailer, to be honest.
Yeah. I meant know nothing about the release date. Like, we don't have a season or anything. We just have the year.
Live content updates. I realize I know you meant season for, like, release, but I'm just thinking of, like, seasons of content.
Yeah, that'd also be pretty fun. Like, just new guns showing up every couple of months.
That's the thing. It's just like it's like reintroducing all the Pokemon generations to Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Seasonally bootlegging Gen 3 back into PAL World. Ugh. Finally, for the Xbox showcase, we have Deathloop. This one, I think of all of the ones that they've announced, is probably the one that is
the least surprising.
Not the most important, but like, yeah, the least surprising / a game that isn't old as fuck, which is nice. It's only a year old.
It's not even a full year old, which is also nicer. The funny thing about this though is that when they announced it, the studio head for the company, it's Arcane, right? I believe it's Arcane that does this.
Yes.
Yeah, the studio head of Arcane was like, it wasn't an easy secret to keep that Deathloop would be coming to Game Pass, and it's like, no, everyone figured that out. You guys are owned by Microsoft.
And they also leaked the store pages like multiple days in advance.
Yeah, it was very easy to think that when the Sony contract ended, this was going to be Game Pass right away. Also, something that they should have talked about on the show, but they didn't, is that Deathloop will be getting a big content update.
Yeah, that was what I was going to touch on.
I don't know why they didn't talk about this on the show. They literally just had them come up and go, "Hey, we're on Xbox now," and then left. What was in the content update though is what I'm trying to find.
So there is a new ability, new gun, and an extended ending. Apparently,
that's right. The extended ending is the one that's going to be pretty interesting. I
gave my thoughts on the ending. They were not positive.
Yeah, so let's see if they can sink even further.
Yeah.
That's the direction you want to see it go, right?
Yeah, naturally this means I'll have to suppress the urge to repeat what I did for the ending when I played it organically, which, let's just say, gave me a very fast ending, which, while very humorous, was very disappointing. So, yeah, I'm interested. I'd be interested enough to at least play the update for Deathloop, but I'm not expecting to suddenly have my opinion changed on the game as a result of this content update. It would just be whether they could clean up basically if they could give it an ending, because they sort of didn't.
Yeah, that's fair. It'd suck, kind of, if you people bought it a year ago for full price. So actually no, the golden update is going to be free, right? The gold loop update?
Yeah, it's a free content update.
Yeah, no, so I guess it doesn't suck as much, but it's like if you played the game a year ago, did everything, and it's like you just kind of put the game aside, and it's like now here's like an extended ending a year later.
Right, that takes us to the end of Xbox. Almost there. Capcom, starting with Monster Hunter news. So this I am big yay for. One, because it's free, base Capcom. Two, do you ever feel like this always bugged me about Pokemon, right? Where you go to a new region and you're like, wow, look at all of God's creatures and how they've evolved so differently. It's like when Charles Darwin first went to the Galapagos Islands and he was like, wow, things that have been isolated from like evolutionary pressures from other places have blossomed into all these unique new ways and things. I feel like something similar happens with Capcom's title updates for Monster Hunter Sunbreak, because every time they announce one of these, it's like, oh yeah, so here's this thing that was, a threat to nearby villages, but was fairly benign and would fairly keep to itself. Anyway, so we went and found one, and this one is like on crystal meth and is full of spikes and hates you.
I feel like that last one generally applies to every monster in Monster Hunter already. But then it's like the extra point of like, no, we have to really point out this one hates you. Just really drives that point home.
This one found your old tweets.
Oh god, not again.
So in this update, we have the announcement of Flaming Espinas, which, holy shit, I want to die. They call it Violet Mizutsune, but it's really hard not to read it as just Violent Mizutsune.
I can understand that.
Because Violet is, Mizutsune is this like lovely sort of water dragony, leviathany.
It's already kind of violet as is.
Yeah, like real easy to make like nice looking art of, and then they took that and they're like, what if we made everything explosions though? So great,
that is a general idea I get with Monster Hunter. It's like whenever I see a monster, I'm like, what if it exploded though?
and then the funny part is that for Rising Camellios, from what I saw, I don't know that I saw everything about Rising Chameleos, but from what I did see, it just looked like regular Chameleos.
Yeah, I don't know what's new about Risen Chameleos. Maybe it's just like a stronger variant.
That's what I'm saying, is that like Flaming Espinas is like, what if we took an Espinas and lit it on fire?
Did Chameleos ever
and made
fly before?
Yes, it has wings. It didn't like stay in the air, but it like jumped and like was able to glide and hover and stuff.
Okay, then yeah, I'm not too sure what's different.
That's what I'm saying though. That's why it's really funny to me, because it's like Espinas, big, terrifying, absolutely hate it, but you know, once you get used to it, it's a tolerable fight. And they're like, oh yeah, it's on fire now. You're like, okay, that's terrifying. Mizutsune, water dragon, pretty, very like slippery and like high mobility, all that. Now it explodes. You're like, okay,
yeah, you don't rely on the bubbles anymore, because now they blow up.
Yeah, exactly. And then Chameleos, large purple dragon, flies and like poisons you. And now Risen Chameleos, the same. And you're like, huh, that. But does he explode? Like what's the gimmick?
It's the same but faster.
See, that's actually a concern though, is that I'm not a big fan. Like as much fun as it is to give grief to like, oh, let's just make the monsters explode. At least it does change up how the fight plays out. If Risen Chameleos is just, let's just give him another couple extra moves and turn the damage and health up, probably not as much of a fan of that. But a bunch of other updates and little bits and pieces as well. Layered weapons.
Layered weapons is a very nice one to me.
Yeah. They did that with Rampage weapons in base game, but it's cool that that's now being extended to all, which is funny because it's the same as what they did with the layered armor set of used to be specific sets and now it's all. Used to be specific weapons and now it's all. So moving in the right direction there. More event quests as expected, and anomaly research. I don't know.
You're still not sure on anomalies?
No, because I play it solo. I play Monster Hunter solo. And
yeah, I haven't played since I finished the story, so I don't have much of an opinion on anomalies yet.
Yeah, there's just something defeating, just without even going on the quest, about, like, Monster Hunter has always been, you fight it and you triumph over the monster, and then you kind of open your book and you're like, do I want to capture or kill this thing? What will give me the most efficient use of the parts that I need? But anomalies are just everything cranked to 11, and you have to kill them. And just knowing that you enter the location and the only way that you come back is either if you die or it dies. It's kind of like, I don't really. It'd be fine if it was like a lobby of 4 people constantly like just going for it, but for me who plays this mostly solo, it's just such a hard ask to be like, oh yeah, you can not only fight with gear that's better for capturing it, but everything is cranked to 11. And it'll just, depending on where an anomaly spot is, randomly kill you. And you're like, I don't know if this is fun. I don't know if I'm having fun anymore, Capcom.
Yeah, no, it seems like something very much designed around being a multiplayer-centric thing.
Yeah, and I get it. It is.
Monster Hunter is kind of just a multiplayer game.
Yeah, but like it is endgame content. I understand that, but it's a it feels like more of a turn-off than it should be, given the endgame content of other Monster Hunter games, is I guess what I mean.
Yeah.
And my concern is that the layered weapons will likely be using some of the new anomaly parts. Just because that's the on-brand trend. So, big yay. It's a free update. I'll get stuck into it when it's out. Looking super forward to it. But yeah, the anomalies, bit of a question mark, but we'll see.
Also, real quick, they also showed off a new weapon. I think this is a event weapon, the Lost Code ones. Those are really cool. Like, so Monster Hunter is usually like about like I guess Middle Earth-ish, medieval style weapons and stuff. So these are like very high futuristic sci-fi weapons coming into the game, and they look really cool.
Yeah. All good times in Monster Hunter. Next up on the list, Mega Man Battle Network adds a VTuber Mega Man EXE to the title screen.
That's really funny. I really appreciate this because Mega Man EXE is the Mega Man series that's all about like having a pet Digimon Mega Man, basically. And it's all about like internet culture and like cyber wars and things like that. So
you can teach it to be racist.
Yes, exactly that. So I'm going the extra mile to just have a megaman.exe on the title screen, like tutorializing you, telling you about the games that are in there, helping you through the options menus. That's a nice addition.
And the fact that it'll call you slurs while it does it.
Oh, definitely. You have to have the PlayStation camera on otherwise you can't play the game. Mega Man needs to confirm your skin color. Also confirmed is that they're going to be working on adding online components to the game because these are the later half of the Mega Man Battle Network games kind of split into like the Pokemon thing where it was the same game but like a red and blue version. And between them, you could trade chips and do battles with people. So they're going to be working on implementing that sort of feature so you can do online battles and chip trading in this re-release.
Right. Yeah, I really have nothing else to add, so I guess we'll just move on.
That's fair. I'm very excited for this.
Cool. Finally, in the Capcom list, we have a few characters for Street Fighter 6 being announced. I know that we just talked about how we both prefer Tekken to Street Fighter, but do you want to talk through these?
Yeah, sure. So it's not the whole World Warrior set from Street Fighter 2 yet. We're still missing Zangief. But they just announced Ken, Blanca, Dhalsim, and E Honda. All these characters leaks beforehand, and people saw Ken and went, "Oh no, he's going through a divorce and he's a hobo." I would like to officially confirm that he is.
Now that's a Homer 5 o'clock shadow.
Yes, but I am glad to confirm that no, this man is a family man. He is not divorced. He is not homeless. He is just on the run from the law. And he is being investigated for crimes, and he is running away for his life, protecting his family. But no, these are cool characters to add in. Once we get past all of the World Warriors, we can go to more interesting character reveals, I think. People generally really like new character announcements. Old characters returning is just cool to see. They also announced a closed beta test is going to be happening. You have until September 30th to sign up for it. And anyone that gets into it can play from October 7 to October 10. And they also went through a couple of the single player modes that are going to be showing up for the game, which I'm really glad for. Having a lot of single player things to do in a fighting game really helps keep that game alive a little bit for replayability. And it was something that was really heavily missing from Street Fighter V. So first up is the World Tour mode, which is you. Oh, Patrick, have you played the PS2 Mortal Kombat games?
No, I played PS3 and Vita Mortal Kombat. I didn't play PS2.
Okay, so the PS2 ones did this thing where you had a character and you'd go explore the world and learn other characters' martial arts. So Street Fighters looked at that and gone, that was a cool idea, let's do that ourselves. So you have a creator character that you make, and the character creator actually looks really in-depth. It's more in-depth than what Monster Hunter has on offer, and I would have just been happy with like a Monster Hunter style character creator. Like that would have been like the minimum amount of depth I would have needed to be happy with it. But they're going a little bit further than that. And yeah, you just go through a storyline of going around the world, learning about all these characters and their stories, learning their moves, and they didn't show a whole lot of what the story will be outside of that, but just being able to interact with the characters and find out how their lives are going outside of like the fights is going to be pretty fun.
So that means you get to join Ken on the run from the law trying to eat out of trash cans.
Yes.
Nice.
They also showed off the Battle Hub, which is a online lobby that's going to hold up to 100 people in them, and those also have weird little intricacies that you can mess around with, like having a bunch of arcade cabinets of older Capcom games in there. they showed off that you can play Final Fight and Street Fighter 2 inside Street Fighter 6. So
that's a page out of Uncharted 4's book playing Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, except that you can do this at any time instead of just like that one story sequence. No, that's a really cool thing, and like being able to play classic Capcom games is a neat touch. They also announced that there's going to be a mini game in the game where you can destroy cars. That hasn't been around since Street Fighter 2, I think. So seeing that come back is very appreciated.
And I can't wait to play Street Fighter to play Monster Hunter.
Yes, that's exactly what's needed. They also announced an extreme battle mode, which is just adding weird, unconventional gimmicks to the game, like having a beach ball that blows up if you let it bounce, or have the floor get electrified every now and then. Just little weird extra ways to play the game than just the standard way.
It sounds like the was it Mortal Kombat that did modifiers?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat did modifier mode. Yeah. I remember fun. Mortal Kombat 9 just cranking it up all the way to the maximum amount of roulettes and just letting it roll. So you'd have like 9 different gimmicks coming up, like missiles will come, but you'll also get magnetized to the floor, and you'll be super sped up every now and then, or have a moon jump. It was fun.
And your character will fall asleep and the controls will be reversed.
Yeah. It's stupid, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
And
bit of chaos.
For the real-time commentary feature, they announced 2 more commentators, this time from Japan. There's Kosuke Hiraiwa, who's a regular play-by-play commentator. And this guy that I really love, his stage name is His Excellency Demon Kaka. He will be a color commentator, and he's fully in character. He doesn't like call the matches by play-by-plays. He's just going to be in character, saying things look like they're coming from hell, or like playing up his own charisma rather than the game's actual technicalities.
Nice. I respect that.
Yeah, it's fun to have little things like that.
Cool. Well, that brings us to the end of the Capcom list, and lucky last, we finally get a single story from Konami. Yeah,
this is neat. So Coden 1 and 2 is getting a remaster, a HD remaster. They saw the Ayuden Chronicles Kickstarter did really well, and like, wait a second, that's just a new Suikoden game by the people that made Suikoden. We have that. Let's just re-release that. Yeah, no, I'm very happy that. I'm very happy to see this. I hear a lot of good things about the Suikoden games. Been wanting to try them for a long time, so this will be the way to get into it. Coming to every console and PC in 2023. Yeah.
So this one is a yay from you.
Yeah, big yay.
Big yay. Well, that finally takes us to the end of all the lists for this week, and of course the end of the news.
Woo, we did it. Congratulations, Patrick.
We survived.
I don't know how.
We lost Josh and Steve on the way, but we survived.
I think we lost them before the list.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Right, the audience question for this week. I asking on behalf of the audience, where Josh and Steve?
So like I said, the moment you said you were going on holiday, Josh, it's like, oh, cool, free time off. While Steve and I were like, no, we're still planning on doing podcasts while Patrick's away. We'll figure something out.
So where's Steve?
I don't have an answer for Steve. Steve just kind of fell off the face of the earth.
It happens. We've all been there. Yeah, no proper audience question for this week.
Especially not after that long of a news section.
Exactly. So, I guess this brings us to the end of episode 41. Feel free to give us a like on your favorite podcasting platform / star rating if you can. All interactions help boost our voices within the algorithm, and make sure that we retain our illustrious position of being the preferred gaming and pop culture news podcast sponsored by Krispy Kreme, and possibly also September. And for truck month. Yeah, but
maybe Samsung down the line. If Josh stops breaking all their products.
But that's the end of episode 41. Thank you so much for listening. I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Saif.
Hi.
had to stop myself from saying more people. But yeah, we'll thank you for listening. Well, I'm sure you'll hear from us again soon. But until then, talk to you then. Goodbye.